Thank you. Thank you.
All right, hopefully everyone can hear us. We are about to go live on TV. I just got in. Davion so far has been here over the last couple of hours, just keeping an eye on the radar, and just got notification that that tornado warning was coming out. So we are setting up here. Dan is not in, as far as we know, as of just yet. Davion, I don't know what you have seen, but if you wanted to start, are you about to go live here?
Yeah, we're gonna have to break into TV.
Yeah, we'll be breaking into TV here real quick, guys. So if you could just give us a quick second
That's
while we're pretty much getting ready. This was, I'm
Leslie.
sure.
That's coming.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Davion Huggins. I'm here with meteorologist Leslie Castro. The weather can provide surprises, and it certainly has done that. We have a tornado that is likely on the ground just to the south and just to the south of Fort Smith right now. So we're bringing up Mega Doppler right now, and bear with us. It'll be a little hard to be on the wall and show your radar at the same time right now. But you can see that this area that we're watching is just right to the north of the city of Greenwood. And we were watching this tornado trying to track northwest. It was a little odd, as you can see. It wasn't necessarily warned at first. And then there you see the newest warning. So this tornado warning goes until 8:45, I believe. And this is moving northwest at 15 miles per hour. You can see a little odd for tornado movement right now, but this tornado is on the ground. Was on the ground at least a few moments ago. We'll get a live scan at velocity. And what we're looking at right now is Mega Doppler, and the reds are the winds that are going outbound. The greens are inbound, meaning when you have those areas that are tightly coupled right over the city of Greenwood, that is your area of rotation. And I'll give you the play-by-play of how this went down. Notice that as we went back a few scans ago, notice that tornado, it was very bright. You can see that signature, the greens right next to the reds. And then that looks like that has a handoff situation where now we have yet another tornado that could be potentially impacting the city of Greenwood. So this is right along State Highway 10. We're going to plot some roads and zoom way in. Greenwood Schools, this is right on top of you guys as of right now. West Houston Street, you guys need to be in your tornado safe place immediately as we're continuing to watch this storm. This will continue to move off to the northwest. So this is very close to the radar. So it could actually be a little brighter in terms of those velocity scans. So we're not going to treat this as if this is weakening right now. So over towards Old Jenny Lynn, New Jenny Lynn, White Bluff downstream, you guys are certainly going to make sure you're going to be in your tornado safe place. So you can see how close we are to the radar right now. So we'll work on getting you some of those tracks in plan. All right, we can, bring me up. Not necessarily sure if we can see this from some of our WeatherBug Network cameras. We'll try to get that up and running for you, but you can see that this is, again, right over the city of Greenwood, moving northwest at about 15 miles per hour. So downstream, everyone that's in this warning right now, you can see Barling is in this warning. The Fort Smith region, you guys will just be just outside of this warning. But if this continues to be tornadic and move off to the northwest at this Snell's place, then it certainly would include you guys in that warning. I don't know if you have a track on it yet.
Yes, I actually do. And you can go ahead and pull some of those tracks up.
So if we could switch over to Weather 2, that would be Weather 2.
Max 2, we have some of the tracks on there for those who are just around this area. The elementary schools keeping that in mind, especially for Greenwood. Like we mentioned, Greenwood, you must be in your safe place just for precautionary measures, especially since we have this tornado warning in place. Now, keep in mind the tornado warning box is a little bit awkward right now, considering where exactly that actual rotation is going.
Yeah, so it's moving to the northwest, if that is. So you can see that the tornado movement is moving towards the radar, in fact.
So if I go ahead and actually move this, yes, exactly.
So it's moving, again, towards the radar. Kind of, it's very odd. It's the opposite of what you normally see. We usually see these storms move from southwest to northeast, and you have no experience tracking that. So if you, flip it all the way around.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, right towards, yeah. So it's
Yeah, we're
moving that
trying to get
general
ourselves
direction.
gathered here, but as you can go ahead and see, this is going to be the tornado track you guys should definitely be
There it is.
concerned about. So Davion, like we mentioned, Fort Chaffee, Barling, Buell, definitely the Fort Smith suburban areas. You definitely want to be in your safe place. As of right now, this tornado warning will be going up until 8:30 p.m. this evening. And on top of that, we have also seen the storm moving at 15 miles per hour. So a little bit of a slow moving one. And that's definitely something we want to be concerned about, especially if there's a possibility for this rotation to strengthen once all over again. So Fort Smith Regional Airport, especially by 8:38 p.m., 8:43 p.m. Cardinal Elementary School, 8:46 p.m. Mill Creek, 8:52 p.m. Fort Smith, and 8:55 p.m. Laban. We also have our live stream going for some of our folks that are coming in now. Thank you for tuning in as well. We know this is a little bit catching a lot of people off guard, but of course, we're going to continue to be live streaming as long as this tornado warning is going.
So I'm manning some of our cameras right now. If we can take, I don't know if we have weather 3, it'd have to be pulled up, or weather 1, I should say. So this is a live look from our Fort Smith Public Library. This is looking off to the south and looking off to the southeast in the general direction of this storm. As you can see, of course, not much to see right now. It's all shrouded in rainfall as we've had radar. This is very close to the radar, and we've continued to have just numerous downpours throughout the entirety of the day. We're continuing to see this circulation still showing up on mega Dopplers, still showing up. It's not as strong as it was, but again, this tornado warning does go into effect until it does not expire for another 29 minutes or so. So we'll continue to monitor that. We likely have some other cameras in place. I could show you if we can switch over to mega Doppler really quickly just to show that as I get the camera in order. So we'll continue to see that circulation as it continues to ramp up. We'll try to get a better view of the storm as this comes in from our Kisser Tower over in Dripping Springs, looking off to the south and east and trying to see the best view of that. And again, all of this is shrouded in rainfall. So we can bring up Kisser really quick. Yep. So Kisser's loading up. Again, we're continuing to monitor this. All right. So there it is. And yeah, so again, shrouded in rainfall, but this is in the general direction of the storm that's happening right now. So you have heavy rainfall falling just to the south of Fort Smith, over towards Barling, just to the south and west of Lavaca, north of Hackett, the general area of the radar. So you have heavy rainfall falling in there. And then on the tail end of that, you have a tornadic circulation that was certainly a quick spin up a few moments ago, and that it continues to be a little broader than what it was that prompted the warning. So we'll continue to monitor that. Latest reports from the National Weather Service still showing a tornado that was reported 1 mile east of Excelsior, Arkansas, which is, again, just over towards the Greenwood area, just to the southeast. And that was that initial quick spin up that we saw. There you see a live look on radar. So this is where we're talking about State Highway 10. This was a very quick spin up tornado. You can see the evolution of that. And now we're continuing to see a handoff. So the main area of concern right now would just be to the east of New Jenny Lind. This is going to be over to the south of Central City, Fort Chaffee. This is moving in your general direction, Barling as well. Not necessarily in the warning box, but Central Grove, you guys can see that. And again, you're seeing the live look at the storm right now. Still, again, don't want to go outside and trying to see this. This is shrouded in rainfall. You're not going to see much. These are some of the best cameras we have. And if we can't see it from this high up, it's going to be very hard to see it from the ground. Just make sure if you're in this tornado warning polygon, you want to be in your safe place immediately. And again, this tornado warned storm continues to move northwest at about 15 miles per hour. We're continuing to keep in track of any messages from the National Weather Service. But so far, the latest that we know is that this is a quick spin up tornado. Again, we're going to continue to monitor the evolution of this storm, as if you notice, the tornadoes not necessarily expected today. This is what we mean by weather can provide surprises. And if this is any evolution of what tomorrow may bring, where we actually do have that slight risk of a 2% risk of a tornado, certainly going to be on our guards for this. But there you can see the storm right now, looking at mega Doppler. In fact, if we could switch things over to live radar, just to show you that track that we had, the updated track, and I'll let Leslie take over and speak on that.
Yes, of course. So as we've mentioned, a little bit of a different typical situation where you're expecting storms moving a certain way. But this, like you mentioned, Davion has been moving towards the northwest, a little bit slow moving when it comes to this as well. And it looks like there's also another tornado warning down in Scott County as well that we're keeping an eye on. So Davion, if you're able to, can we pull up
back to
Max
Mega
1
Doppler
real
really
quick?
quickly?
Yes.
Max 1, yep. So this just in, we have another storm This is just to the south of the quick spin up. If we could switch over to weather one, excuse me.
Yes.
There we go. So this is just to the south of the storm. I'll zoom out so you can get the big picture. So Fort Smith, you guys need to be in your safe place immediately. Anywhere across the board, Franklin County, you certainly want to be in your safe place as we continue to track that storm. But as we move off to the south, notice this area over towards Mansfield. This looks like this is, I mean, oh my goodness. So again, Abbott, Mansfield, Huntington, Crossroads. These are quick spin up tornadoes. This is looking like it's trying to put down yet another tornado. We'll give you the side by side panel. So this is what we're seeing right now. So anytime you see a storm and it has that classic U shape to it, that hook, and right onside that hook, we're starting to see those winds, those greens and reds meet and coincide with each other. That means we're seeing rotation and the radar is picking up on that. So this is likely going to be yet another tornado warning that's going to be issued just to the south of the warning polygon. So we'll give you the one panel because it's a little easier to follow. And then we want to bring your attention. So again, we have numerous tornado warnings now that are about to be issued. You can see this storm is not necessarily tornado warned, so this is certainly important. And this will be crossing over the Abbott area pretty soon. This is going to move right along. There it is, the newest scan coming in. This is going to be right along U.S. Highway 71 over towards just to the east of Mansfield. But certainly want to be in your tornado safe place. Abbott, this is going to be right on top of you guys here, especially on the eastern side of the city. But I want to bring your attention further south as we go down into Scott County because there's yet another storm that's now tornado warned. So there it is.
Yep, exactly. So like we mentioned, so first let's go to that new tornado warning, like you mentioned, real quick to give the people the latest details on that.
Yep.
I actually have a storm track on that one as well. It looks like the orientation of it is a little bit different than what I have. So I'll try to adjust the orientation here for what is showing right here, according to NWS Tulsa. And so keeping in mind, these storms have been moving anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. So I have this plotted at 20 miles per hour. So keep in mind, Crossroads School by 8:18. Anyone in any of these polygons, you definitely want to be in your safe cover right now. I know there's a game that some people may have been watching that we interrupted, but once again, a lot of these will be catching people off guard. So it is important that you get into your safe space right now. So 8:18 Dayton, 8:23 Buckner Park, 8:24 Witcherville, 8:32 if you're in the Big Rock area, and 8:36 also heading into Raymond E. Wells Junior High School, and then Greenwood as well, also within the pathway of this storm, and then Bell Park by 8:42, 8:45 Carnus, and 8:51 Arrowhead Assault Strip. So right now, in case you're just now joining in, we have 3 separate tornado warnings in the area. The first one is going all the way up until 8:30 p.m. Have yet to see the timing for the other ones, but I'll check here in a second. We also have one that will be heading towards the Scott County region here soon. Right now, it's still out of the coverage region, but it does include portions of our coverage region as well. So if we go ahead and switch on over to Mega Doppler, so that Davion can give you a quick run through of some of these tornado warnings.
So you may have seen me walking off to the side. We're adjusting those cameras to see if we can get a view. Right now, again, similar to all the other storms, they're shrouded in rainfall. So if we can actually pull up really quickly, I'll try to bring up the Waldron camera in southern Scott County really quickly. And if we can switch over. So there you go. This is Waldron, and this is looking off into the direction of the storm. And notice we see the lightning. We see all of the lightning happening, the downpours. But again, no necessarily can't have a view from it from so much rainfall that's happening right now. But we do not want to treat that as if just because we can't see it, it's not on the ground. So we do have yet another piece of rotation. And as we go back up to Mega Doppler really quickly, switching back and forth, forgive me in the production room, but as we go back over to Mega Doppler really quickly, because we have yet another area that's now warned. And this is, again, that area that we were talking about near Mansfield, moving very close to the radar, switching back to Mega Doppler really quickly on weather one. So there we go. So this is the newest tornado warning, and the most concerning spot looks like where we were just to the northwest of Abbott now. It has moved over to the east portions of Abbott, just to the south of Crossroads, Dayton, Wisherville. You guys need to be in your tornado safe place immediately if you're in this tornado polygon. And notice how expansive it is. The reason they've done such a large warning box is because the tornadoes are not necessarily following in a straight motion. You're getting what we call a handoff situation where you have a quick spin up and then a storm, it may pass off, and then another quick spin up happens, not necessarily in line with the original tornado. So continuing to keep an eye on the messages coming out of the National Weather Service, but we do have multiple tornado warnings entering into portions of our coverage area now. Again, if you live over towards Mansfield, Huntington, you guys need to be in your tornado safe place immediately. Looks like we just got the latest scan on that, and we're continuing to see pretty strong rotation. So we're going to switch this over to normalized rotation and try to get a good look at this. And yeah, it's going to be a little contaminated because again we're so close to the radar. But I have no doubt in my mind that this continues to be a quick spin up tornado just to the south of Dayton and Crossroads, and it'll be moving to the northwest over towards Witcherville as well. So going to continue to monitor that. Some of the roads that you need to plot it on. This is 80 the 8100th block of Dayton Road right now. This circulation is right on top of you guys. Moving off a little bit to the north, we have Echo Road, plotting some streets here. If you know anybody or live alongside these roads yourself, you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately. We have L. Clark's Chapel Road just to the north of that. Again, will be right along US Highway 71. In fact, it looks like that tornado circulation is right along that highway as we speak. And we'll continue to monitor the latest. And we'll try to pull up some cameras to see if we can get a better view as this storm continues to push off to the east. But this is not the only tornado warning that we have. Notice we have an expansive tornado warnings, and the one that we were tracking that originally caused us to go live, not seeing much in that, but that's because we're so close to the radar. You can see just to the south of Fort Smith, this area where there's nothing showing up. That's where the radar beam is. So it's kind of hard to get those very low level areas, very high level of areas right outside the radar beam. So we call that the cone of silence. But again, if you're anywhere underneath a tornado polygon within our viewing area, we need you to get into a safe place immediately. And we do not want to lose track of the storm that we were tracking off just to the south. If we can pull up the Waldron camera once again, I'll try to do this really quickly. It looks like it's already up, and we'll switch this over. So if we can switch over back to weather one, there it is. We're continuing to see rainfall from Waldron right now. Not necessarily seeing any structure with this storm. Of course, we're a little far away as the storm is just now entering into portions of Scott County, but certainly still has some rotation with it. So if you live over towards Y City, just to the east of Blackford Bowls, you guys need to be in your safe place immediately. And this will be eventually moving up towards the city of Waldron. And we certainly know some folks that are down there. So certainly want to keep that in mind. Meteorologist Leslie Castro.
Yes, I also have a couple of storm tracks that is plotted on all three of these tornado warnings. So if we can go ahead and pull up Max 2 real quick, and I'll take everyone by little. We're starting all the way from the south, beginning by 821 Shiloh School. If you're within this tornado warning, you definitely want to be in your safe place by now. By Nella, 8:24 p.m., 8:40 p.m. for Bush School, and then 8:48 for Waldron, the Waldron area especially. So if you're within the Waldron town, you're definitely going to want to be in your safe place by around this time frame. 8:51 p.m. as well for the Pines, 8:54 continuing for Waldron, but I would also include the outskirts of that as well by closer to 8:48, and then 8:55 p.m. Ragsdale Arena, and then by 9:01 p.m. Center Point School. Now, some of these are falling outside of the tornado warning, but we definitely don't know how long these rotations are going to be lasting. They have been ramping up very quickly, as what we have been seeing, honestly, over the last few minutes, I should say. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next polygon that I also have placed for you as well. Like Davion was just mentioning, by 8:18, this one is going to be moving towards north, closer to around 20 miles per hour. So these are also slow moving, and that's something we need to be concerned about as well, because they have plenty of time to ramp up and hit any of these areas. So 8:18 Dayton, 8:19 p.m. Crossroads School, 8:24 p.m. Witcherville, 8:34 p.m. Burnville, then 8:36 p.m. Raymond Junior High School, and then Greenwood. Once again, you're also following within the polygon, just like you are with the very first one that was issued across the region, and then 8:46 Carnus. And then we're going to go ahead and go to that northern region, because like Davion mentioned, because it's so close to the radar, it could be hard to tell if there's an exact rotation with that, but we still want to be in our safe place if you're within that tornado warning as well. 8:19 Fort Chaffee, 8:22 Barling Elementary School, and 8:26, and honestly the entirety of Fort Smith, especially if you live closer to the eastern portions of Fort Smith, you should definitely be in your safe place. Also keeping in mind some of our commuters along Interstate 540, you definitely want to be in your safe spot as well. Now, keeping in mind these storms have been moving anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. I know a lot of people have been asking about Northwest Arkansas, and let's just say right now for us, it's general rainfall for the most part. There is weak or little to no rotation, in fact, for anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. So Rogers, Gentry, Decatur, anywhere in Benton, Washington, Madison, Carroll County, you guys are good for now. Right now, we're mostly focused on the River Valley, especially Sebastian and Scott County, and heading into Crawford County, where these polygons are.
That's exactly right. And the one thing that's interesting that we were looking at is pretty much if you're anywhere in Sebastian County, almost the entire county is underneath some sort of polygon, unless you're in far western or far northeastern portions of the county. But most of the county of Sebastian is underneath a tornado warning polygon. So we're just going to treat that as if you need to get to your tornado safe place immediately. And then, as you'll notice, these storms are the ones that we were saying that are moving off to the northwest. However, the storms that we were tracking over towards Scott County, if we can switch things over to Mega Doppler really quickly, because man, these things are continuing to go. So we can switch over. This will be weather one once we get it loaded. So it's okay. Yeah, there it is. And now in Scott County, we're continuing to monitor this area of rotation. It's now across the county line, I should say. And now we're continuing to see those greens line up next to the reds, again, just off to the west of Y City. And this is one of the tornado warning polygons that is actually moving northeast versus the ones a little to the north in Sebastian County that are moving northwest. So that'll be something we certainly have to continue to monitor over the next several minutes. And it looks like they had just continued that tornado warning in Sebastian County. So Tulsa is still saying that there could be some areas of rotation over in the northern portions of this. This is, again, Sebastian County. So Fort Chaffee now including in that tornado watch box. Greenwood, who recently saw likely a brief quick spin up tornado that prompted all of this, could see another area of rotation off just to the south of the city. Yet again, Huntington, Mansfield, Abbott, some of the same places we called out before, we're still seeing some areas of rotation. Not as concerning as what it looked like a little earlier, but again, we saw how quickly things can ramp up and quickly spin up. So we need to treat these as if they're on the ground, even whether we think so or not. So again, if you're underneath a tornado warning polygon with this type of setup, you're going to want to be in your tornado safe place immediately. I also want to bring your attention further back down to the south over towards Scott County, because notice just outside of our viewing area to the south of the tornado warning we were covering, that's just to the east of Y City. This is a little bit of a rural community area, but again, it's in our viewing area. We want to treat it the same as we would any other storm. And this is continuing to move off to the northeast over eventually towards Waldron. That's why we have some of those cameras pulled up and pointing off to the south and southwest. But notice the storm that's tornado warning, also tornado warned, I should say, just to the south of this warning. This will likely push into portions of our coverage area as well as we go throughout the next several minutes or so, depending on how these storms continue to shape up. So certainly, again, weather can provide surprises. Meteorologist Celeste Castro, I know you can certainly relate to that as we're continuing to track these storms. But again, pretty serious situation happening right now as we're continuing to monitor some of these tornado warnings that are moving throughout the region. So we'll get you caught up. We're going to switch things over to meteorologist Celeste Castro real quick. I'm going to try to bring up some more cameras to see if we can see anything with these storms as they continue to move throughout the region.
Yes. Okay. And like Davion mentioned, he's going to pull up some cameras, but I was looking at Dripping Springs and it looks like we're seeing some horizontal rain currents. So that's safe to say at least that these storms are pretty much pushing and blasting that rain to the side as well. And we've already been seeing reports of tree damage as well, and trees down. So it's definitely important to take into consideration some of the warning signs that is being shown on Dripping Springs right now. And as Davion continues to look through Mega Doppler, I do want to show you some of the storm tracks that we have been plotting over the last few minutes. So if we go ahead and pull up weather 2 here, which we have up on the screen, definitely showing you the one in South Sebastian County. This is going to be lasting all the way up until 8:30. These storms have been moving anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. So of course, towards the Dayton area, Burnville by 8. Honestly, Dayton, you should be in your safe place right now because it could be near you by 8:21 p.m., 8:38 p.m. Burnville, 8:40 p.m. Raymond, as well as 8:43. Once again, Greenwood, you were in that first polygon and you could potentially be in the second, or you're in the second one right now. So far, as we saw about, I want to say 4 minutes ago, they did mention National Weather Service Tulsa that both circulation areas have weakened and broadened for the moment. However, I will not take that as a sign to pretty much breathe a sigh of relief, technically, because a lot of these, it looks like this rotation have been very quick spin ups, so it can happen within the matter of an eye and can definitely strengthen all over again.
Yeah, and just as you say that, we saw those rotations broaden out. And the camera you're looking at, this is our Dripping Springs camera over near the Fort Smith region. And you can see what meteorologist Celeste Castro was talking about, those horizontal rain curtains. Notice we brought this camera up about 10 minutes ago, and it was relatively quiet in terms of the rain. So that just shows you how quickly these storms have been moving and ramping up. But again, it's going to be very hard to see any rotation outside of the rain curtains because there's so much rainfall falling across the region right now. And the latest scans on Mega Doppler showing one of those circulations looks like it's trying to tighten up yet again. And this will be to the north this time of Crossroads, and this will be right over State Highway 252 in the 4700 block. So we can pull up Mega Doppler really quickly back to weather one, and we can show you what we're talking about. So this area that we're talking about, anytime you see the reds next to the green, now it's not as bright and as concerning as it looked a few moments ago, but notice latest scan showing you that. So 4700 block, State Highway 252, want to be in your safe place immediately. And this is just to the south of Milltown. So this is, again, anywhere in this tornado polygon. So this is all the way south of Burnville, east of Witcherville. You can see where we're talking about right now. Be in your tornado safe place, as again, these are very quick spin up tornadoes. And just because they're quick and spin up does not mean they can't cause any damage or be life threatening. So we're going to continue to keep that as a main concern as we track some of these storms that are rolling through right now.
Yes, of course. And as we continue to talk about this, I definitely do want to pull up Max 2 as well to kind of give people a quick overview of what we're looking at, because I know many people are beginning to join in and are probably curious as to what's happening. So first and foremost, if we go up north, so far Northwest Arkansas has been seeing just general rain showers for the most part. It's been very calm here despite seeing some heavy downpours at time here, but there is no rotation in any of the storms farther up north. Now, if we move farther south, we do have it looks like they just issued another tornado warning as well. So Davion, if you want to go ahead and talk about it.
I was just going to say, down back to the south over to Scott County. This is the area we were talking about. If we can switch things back over to weather one really quickly, you can see Max Mega Doppler showing you the area we're talking about. Now I'll zoom in so you can see the area of rotation. Notice there's two areas of rotation that we're noticing right now. This is again off to the east. This is over towards again, this is a little rural in our community, but we again want to treat this the same way we do any other area. Shiloh, Nella, or forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, but over towards Ritz and Tensop, south of Blansett. You guys need to be in your tornado safe place immediately. I'm going to show you something, and this is what we call normalized rotation. And you can see the banner, it tells you the color code. So we have weak rotation, stronger rotation, and we're starting to see some of those stronger rotations show up. But notice there's two areas we're watching. So these, again, are two areas of concern right now within this far southern tornado warning in our viewing area. We'll switch things back over to radar so you can see what we're talking about. Anytime you see those greens next to the reds, that's when we're seeing some of those tornadoes, vortexes try to tighten up, I should say.
Yes, and so I plotted a new track for that tornado warning that was just issued. Shiloh School, once again, by 8:29, you definitely want to be in your safe place. We've been mentioning Shiloh for a little bit of time now. Waldron area as well, you definitely want to be in your safe place. So from 8:29 p.m., Shiloh School, 8:32, you have Nella, and then 8:53 around the Bush School area, as well as 9:04, the Waldron area. Honestly, you guys need to be in your safe place, as well as the Pines by 9:08 p.m. Also keeping in mind that these storms have been moving at this one actually 15 miles per hour. So it's actually been slow moving. This has been giving these storms time to sort of increase their rotation, but we have been seeing quick spin ups that have been or possibly occurred earlier. So that's why we're definitely wanting to continue to keep an eye on this.
And this is such the thing that we're talking about. The tornadoes that we were watching a little earlier, moving northwest, and then some of them due north over in Sebastian County. The one to the south that meteorologist Leslie Castro is talking about, that you can see the track, this one's moving northeast. So this is one is a little more typical, and it's away from all of the other ones. But then just to the south of it, it also has another area of circulation likely following in its footsteps that could clip portions of our viewing area, again, Scott County as well. So we'll continue to monitor the latest. There is a look at Mega Doppler right now, and we still see these areas, tight couplage trying to tighten up. And you can see that as we play this in motion, you can see the areas of spin that we're reviewing just to the north of. Okay, I'll move that a little further north so you can see what I'm talking about. Notice the greens next to the reds continuing to circulate, and that's why we have some of those tornado warnings continuing. Again, so this newest tornado warning continuing through portions of Scott County, so be in your tornado safe place. We do have that Waldron camera up, I do believe, and I don't know if we can see anything. Yep, so there it is. So again, this is looking off from our Waldron. This is Waldron High School, I believe. And you can see that we're not seeing much in terms of structure. And that's because, one, we're a little further away from the storm, but two, it's also shrouded in rainfall. So it's really not one of these situations where you want to try to get outside and try to see these things for yourself unless you're a trained spotter. You can see the lightning off in the camera right now as we continue to monitor this as it continues to push towards the city of Waldron. But again, these are quick spin up areas, not likely going to be staying down for long, but as they continue to be quick spin ups, you just want to make sure you're in that tornado safe place if you're underneath a polygon, as these things have been quick to form as well as quick to fall off, but then a new one will form right behind it. So this kind of of the scenario we have going on right now. So again, pretty serious. We're going to get you caught up with the latest of some of the warnings. We're continuing to look on Mega Doppler. And now we also have some of these areas that are being hit by thunderstorms over and over again. So we're also starting to see a little bit of a flash flood kind of concern growing in nature as we continue to track these storms. So here's a look at some of the rotation right now. We'll set this storm motion from the warning so we can get a better look at that. And this is the area that we were mentioning earlier to the east of Milltown. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a circulation. It looks like that Waldron camera that we were showing you moments ago has just went down. So if anything, some of these storms have some strong winds with them as we continue to track that. It looks like we may still
It
have
might
it
be
on our
back.
end, but
Okay,
so
yep, it is back up.
briefly coming down. There's also again lightning with these storms. We see how that pulses off in nature as well.
I also want to point out, if you go towards Barling, just right next to the radar,
Yep.
we have been seeing mentions near National Weather Service, Tulsa, both a mix of the rotation could be trying to increase again, but just moments ago, it was too close to the radar where it causes base. It's just too shallow, and the radars tend to miss this entirely. And so we are going to continue to keep an eye on this. But for that warning further up north, you notice that this little bit of rotation, it looks like there's also a little bit towards Fort Chaffee as well.
Yep.
So we're keeping an eye on this entire area right there as well. Now, keep in mind, this pretty much only clips portions of Fort Smith, does not go all the way up to Interstate 40 or Van Buren or Alma just yet. None of these tornado warnings do, but I would not be surprised if these rotations continue to stay there, that they continue to extend these tornado warnings. So far, it looks like all of them do go up to about 8:30, so I would not be surprised if they continue to extend all of them. And once again, a lot of these storms have been moving anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. So that these are very slow moving storms. And if you're not seeing rotation, you're probably getting heavy rain on top of all this as well. So we're seeing the concerns for flash flooding on top of this rotation. But you could see right there.
I was just gonna say that. Notice this area that we're watching. We have this area that meteorologist Leslie Castro just pointed out, right over Fort Chaffee and over towards the Barling area. But notice this area that we're continuing to watch: New Haroldton, Central City, Wright Tower, Cross Lanes. This is an area that's not underneath a tornado warning polygon, but will likely be so here pretty soon as we continue to track the latest. You can see the area of rotation we're talking about. It's very broad as of right now, but at the very least, you're getting some very strong winds coming in over about 40 to 45, even 50 miles per hour, as you can see the color coordinates. So again, we have some storms that are rolling through the region. If you're in the area we're talking about right now, you definitely want to be in your tornado safe place if you're underneath a polygon. And as we continue to monitor this, it looks like we have some strong winds on some of these streets. This is Gun Club Road over to the east of Haroldton. Yes, please. Yes, please. Definitely want to do that for right now as we continue to know the latest. Decent downbursts now on the south side of Greenwood. So we're continuing to see some of these storms as they roll through. We can switch things over to Weather 2 for meteorologist Leslie Castro.
Yes, I also have Weather 2 right now. And as we can see, I plotted another one. This continues both of Barling and the one that's also northeast of Barling. So keeping in mind, these storms are actually moving closer towards the north right now. These are not moving towards the northeast like your typical storms would when it comes to this type of situation, or towards the east. These are moving nearly directly north. So keeping in mind Barling by 828, while the tornado warning does not necessarily include you guys entirely, definitely want to be in your safe space in case that tornado or in case they do extend these tornado warnings. Harbor View, Mercy Hospital, 8:33 p.m., 8:51 p.m. Catcher, 8:56 p.m. Westville, 8:59 p.m. Summit Medical Center, and then by 9:02 p.m. Van Buren and the Van Buren area. So keeping in mind, there are no tornado warnings for a lot of these areas yet, but if you are in the path of this storm or of this rotation, you definitely want to be in your safe place as well. Also been seeing horizontal rain curtains, so we know for sure the speeds are fast with these storms, especially with some of the inflow that some of these storms could be taking in. And if you want Davion, as we continue to look towards the north, we could also go back and focus on the county or Scott County as well, and towards Waldron area, because keeping in mind we do have four tornado warnings actually in the viewing region, 2 for Scott County, and then 3 of those are in the Sebastian area, and
so
also moving into Crawford.
So that the first tornado warning over in Scott County, this is the one meteorologist Leslie Castro. They haven't quite yet extended the one just off to the south into Scott County just yet, but it wouldn't be surprised within the next few minutes that we continue to see that. So these are the areas of rotation that we're continuing to see. We'll show you radar really quickly. We can also pull up the Waldron camera again just to see if we can see anything a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's still down, but there you see. So this is looking off in the general direction of the storm, and notice not looking very concerning on camera, at least as of right now. But this is still a little bit of a ways away, so we have a lot of rain to look through, and that's why you're not seeing any structure. But still seeing some pretty decent levels of rotation on Mega Doppler right now as we continue to track this storm, and it's just it's moving at a snail's pace. Some of these rotations have continued to sit over some of the same areas, broad rotation that we're seeing. But again, some areas could try to tighten up. So if you're in this tornado warning polygon, definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place. Okay, thank you. So as we work our way back up to the north, this is back in towards Sebastian County. City of Greenwood likely already experienced some damage with a quick spin up a little earlier. Now we're seeing a very heavy rainfall at the very least come down across the city of Greenwood, as well as some pretty strong winds. So definitely want to continue to stress that you need to be in your tornado safe place over the next several minutes. We see those tornado warnings allowed to expire at 8:30, but those have likely going to be extended if we continue to see areas of rotation, whether they're broad or not, just with the given nature of these storms. And we also still have that tornado warning. Now, this is pretty concerning because this is now moving outside of the tornado warning box. And you can see the area that we're talking about, that little appendage, you see the hook. And as we switch back over to Mega Doppler, yeah, that's so we're starting to get it's now moving outside of the cone of silence from the radar that we like to say as meteorologists. And now we're starting to see this try to ramp back up over towards Harrelton, New Harrelton, and Cross Lanes, Wright Tower, Westville, Oak Grove, and moving towards Kibler. So these are starting to get into some more populated areas. This is not very far from Van Buren. Given the nature of the movement of these storms. So certainly want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place if you're anywhere in these areas that we're calling out right now as we continue to track the latest. It looks like they did go ahead and expire maybe that tornado that we were talking about, tornado warning, but I don't think that's going to last very long. This is certainly an area of rotation that has been pretty persistent over the past several minutes. You can see the area we're talking about. So again, some of the areas that we're calling out, because you're not underneath a tornado warning polygon just yet at the moment, but Harrelton, New Harrelton, Wright Town, Catcher, Westville, Oak Grove, Cross Lanes, just to the south and east of Van Buren. If you're anywhere in this area, it's a little bit more rural compared to Van Buren in the Fort Smith region. But still, if you're anywhere in this area, you want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place immediately.
I also have a storm track up here on Max 2, if we can pull that up real quick. And like we're mentioning, that one possible there's circulation in that area, but there's the possibilities for that circulation to tighten up. So basically Wright Town by 8:47 p.m., James R. Tate Elementary School 8:47 p.m. Tate, and you're going to notice this list goes all the way down to 9:28 p.m. and only barely touches Cedarville. But keeping in mind these storms are very slow moving, it looks like these rotations are wanting to pick up and strengthen just a little bit more. So Van Buren, especially along Interstate 40 and just north of Interstate 40, you definitely want to be in your safe place as well as Furry by 9 p.m. and then Meadows by 9:05 p.m. and Rudy by 9:14 p.m. Now, I want to go ahead and real quick show everyone a quick overview of what we're looking at across the entire area, because people continue to keep asking, which is highly understandable. So first and foremost, Northwest Arkansas. Yeah, that's beginning to ramp up here. But before we go into that, Northwest Arkansas, we're in the clear. There is no possibility for circulation unless whatever's down in the River Valley continues to impact us. But that'll be hours away from now on because these storms are slow moving. Now, River Valley, we're continuing to keep an eye on. There's one issue tornado warning thus far. I would not be surprised if the one towards Barling continues to ramp up. And we can go ahead and switch on over to Max 1 so that Davion can show us exactly what's happening.
So we have the National Weather Service. They're typing right now in our chat, but this is likely going to be yet another tornado warning that we were just talking about from the area that we were showing you just a few moments ago. So we still do have that tornado warning that's in far southern Scott County now. The tornado warning that was across portions of Sebastian County, as I zoom out, you can see has been allowed to expire, but we're likely about to get a new one. This is right over to the area we were talking about, Harrelton, New Harrelton, just to the east of, or west, I should say, of Cross Lanes, south of Wright Town, and south of Oak Grove. This area of rotation likely ramping up yet again, trying to put down yet another
and they're going to issue another tornado warning for this area north of Barling, as rotation is tightening and has good continuity aloft. So we've gotten the message ahead of time from National Weather Service Tulsa. Yep. So we'll see that popping up on the screen here real quick. As we continue to focus on that, we should probably go back down down in Scott County because there's still another active tornado warning. Yep, there you go. There is that warning. So we'll continue to get that information for you. I'll get your storm track on that newly issued tornado warning as soon as possible. And then Davion, go ahead and take it away.
So we still do have this tornado warning in southern Scott County. We're going to treat this as if it's on the ground as well. As these are quick spin ups. I'm not seeing anything necessarily concerning right now. We're looking at velocity, not seeing any tight couplets, but this has certainly been a broad area of persistent rotation over the last 30 minutes or so as it continued to track into Scott County. So looking at the radar right now, not necessarily as concerning as what it looked a few minutes ago, as we said. But again, this tornado warning is still continuing. If you have anybody, or if you're underneath this tornado warning polygon in Scott County, you definitely want to be in your tornado safe place as we continue to monitor that. The tornado warning that was also to the south of that, just outside of our viewing region, looks like it was also allowed to expire, but we're likely still seeing some broad rotation with that storm as well as we continue to look at these storms. Meteorologist Leslie Castro now has your track on the northern and new tornado warning. So meteorologist Leslie Castro, we can send things back to weather too.
Yes, of course. And so I have it up right here and you can see that path. This storm is slow moving. It's moving at 10 miles per hour. But like we mentioned, this is just north of Barling. So it's pretty much close to northern portions of the Fort Smith region.
Man.
So 9 o'clock by Summit Medical Center, you definitely want to be in your safe place. Van Buren by 9:04 p.m. And then Parkview Elementary School by 9:07 p.m., 9:09 p.m. by Van Buren High School, and then 9:17 by Rena Elementary School. And Davion right now, he's continuing to get a good look at the rotation. And Davion, go ahead and pull up Max 1 right now because it looks like.
So we're going to pull up Max 1 if you can. This is very concerning. This is likely a tornado in progress right now. So this is what we're talking about, those greens that are right next to the reds as we continue to see. And you can also see normalized rotation matching up with it. This is pretty concerning. This is right along the edge that we were talking about. If we could show you the PTDS, it's too close to the radar. You're not going to see that. But there we see, again, this area of rotation still ramping up right now, just to the south of Wright Town. This is underneath that new tornado warning that we were talking about. So again, if you're underneath this tornado warning, definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place as we continue to track this storm. We're going to plot some streets for you now that we have a good look at this. So this is going to be over towards the street Hollis Lake Road. This is likely right on top of the street of Hollis Lake Road right now. A little bit further off to the north south of Wright Town, you have McClure Road in the 5800 block. Definitely want to be in your tornado safe place. A little off to the north of that, Hell Farm Road. Again, definitely want to be in your tornado safe place. And there you see, just as quickly as it formed, it looks like it's trying to broaden out yet again, as we're not seeing those bright colors as we once did right next to each other, but still a very concerning area of rotation that could try to spin up once again as we continue to track the latest. But notice how large the tornado warning box is. So Van Buren, we were mentioning you guys a few moments ago. Now you guys are in this warning as we continue to track the latest. And that's because, again, this broad area of rotation could continue to try to spin up very quick and brief tornadoes like we just once saw as we were tracking the latest. So we have this arrow that we were showing you. So this is the area that we're talking about. This is the most concerning area of the storm right now. There is rainfall elsewhere, but this is the most concerning area. And the greens matching up right next to the reds are showing areas of rotation. And when they come together in a tight couplet, like we saw moments ago, just to the south of Wright Town, that's the area of concern that we're talking about. So we'll continue to keep you up to date with the latest, with the tracks, as well as we can continue to track this storm as it pushes off in the direction over towards Van Buren.
Also, wanting to let you know, sorry, Davion, but so far we got a report that 4,310 customers are out of power in Sebastian County. So keeping in mind, we're seeing strong winds around these storms as well, and they're slow moving at that too.
And that's also going to cause a little bit of a flood concern as well. Yes. Outside of the tornado warnings we were tracking, I was tracking rainfall all day. And we've seen some of these areas already receive over an inch or two of rainfall. And now we're starting to see even more as we continue to track these storms push throughout the region. So just remember, outside of the tornado threat, low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, you're likely going to see those streets become a little agitated with water here if they're not so already, especially near creeks and streams. But of course, the main concern right now continues to be the tornado warning that we have, very large tornado warning that we have. So this extends north of Van Buren all the way to the south over towards Barling and Central City. if you're anywhere within this polygon, we need you in your tornado safe place immediately, because we see how quickly these things can spin up. And it looks like we're starting to see yet another area of rotation try to spin up quickly within this tornado warning box that we're seeing. So we'll continue to give you the track on the latest. But again, to plot some roads, Wright Town, this is right over, this circulation is right over you guys right now. It's just to the south of Oak Grove. So if you have anyone, Oak Grove Town, the 4800 and 4900 block of Oak Grove Road, definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place as we continue to track this storm. We have the 3600 block of Gaswell Road. This tornado circulation is right by you guys right now as we continue to track this. And it looks like it has a little bit of a northwesterly component to it. So this would eventually put it over towards Oak Grove and Van Buren over the next several minutes. So if you're in the town of Van Buren, it's a little more of a populated area. We need you in your tornado safe place immediately as these storms continue to track off to the northwest. And we're going to get you caught up with that. Yeah, man, that look on radar coincides with what we're seeing. That's kind of that classic hook shape that meteorologists look for when we're talking about tornadoes. And there you see that area that we were talking about just over to the south of Wright Town. So again, need to be in your tornado safe place. I know meteorologist Leslie Castro, probably you have a new track on this, so we'll let her talk about the track as we continue to track the latest messaging from the National Weather Service.
Yes, and so I have that track right here, 9:04 p.m. Summit Medical Center, 9:09 p.m. Van Buren, 9:12 p.m. Parkview Elementary School, and 9:13 p.m. Van Buren. So pretty high school. So pretty much anyone in the Van Buren area, you definitely want to be in your safe place, and as well as the eastern portions of Fort Smith. Definitely looking at Summit Medical Center. We know when it comes to hitting hospitals, especially, that also becomes some sort of concern right now, especially as this rotation begins to slowly try to work its way around as well. And on top of that, Rena Elementary School by 9:22 p.m. We're also seeing that the storm has been moving pretty slow at 10 miles per hour now with this newest tornado warning. So these are slow moving storms at that. So you definitely want to keep this in mind,
so
Van Buren.
We just got confirmation. This tornado is actually on the ground. We got confirmation from the National Weather Service. We were also seeing a very brief CC drop, and this is right towards Wright Town. If we could switch over back to Weather One really quickly. So CC drop, what you're seeing, the pinks that you're seeing, the uniform color, that's everything in the sky that's precipitation. It's scanning the same. When you see those colors darken a little bit over towards the blue area where the cursor is, just over towards Wright Town, that's areas of the radar that's detecting, the radar beam detecting things in the atmosphere that are not raindrops, not uniform. So that's like shingles, leaves, trees, branches, things of people's houses. So it's very brief, but we did get confirmation that that tornado was on the ground and it still has that look to it. So again, this is starting to be a very serious situation. These storms are starting to move towards a little more populated areas. So again, if you're anywhere underneath this tornado warning polygon, we need you in your tornado safe place immediately.
Yes, exactly. And I do have a storm track here, and I do continue to refresh the storm tracks as well, keeping in mind this is moving towards the northwest. So a lot of people assume with a lot of these storms, they're either moving towards the east or northeast. No, this is moving towards the northwest directly towards the Van Buren area. So we're definitely keeping that in mind. I do have Max 2 pulled up with a refresh on that tornado track as well, as we're keeping this in mind. So Van Buren area, you definitely want to be in your safe place as well by 9:06 p.m. Again, this is a very slow moving storm, only moving at 10 miles per hour. So you're seeing, hey, it's not going to get to us another 20 minutes or so. I still want to take this with extra caution because we've already seen it's capable of producing a tornado, especially a quick spin up at that. And we've already seen this happen prior, it looks like around the Greenwood area. Yep. So we definitely wanting to take this with extra concern. So Van Buren by 9:06 p.m., 9:02 p.m., Summit Medical Center, 9:09 p.m., Parkview Elementary School, 9:11 p.m., Van Buren High School, 9:19 p.m., Rena High School, and then 9:20 p.m. or Elementary School for Rena, and then 9:20 p.m. Northridge Middle School. Now, keeping in mind, so far in Northwest Arkansas, there is no concern for rotation as far as we know. So far, just general thunderstorm and showers of the garden variety, like we typically say. But the main concern right now is anywhere in the River Valley where we've been seeing some of these rotations develop.
So again, I'm glad you touched on that. We know we broke into live coverage. coverage. That's because we have quite a large viewing area. So Northwest Arkansas, not seeing anything of concern outside of just uniform showers and thunderstorms right now. The main concern continues to be portions of the River Valley. These quick spin up tornadoes started off in Sebastian County. Now they're moving into northern Sebastian County and into Crawford County, as you can see the latest track. But if we switch things over to Weather One really quickly, I want to bring you back to Mega Doppler, because this is, again, another storm that's outside of the tornado warning box. But this was tornado warned a little earlier today. And you can see we're starting to see some areas of rotation continue just to the south and southeast of Fort Chaffee. Zooming in a little bit, this area is also to the south of Charleston, a little bit more of a populated city. This area of rotation could continue to try and spin up. It's not tornado warned just yet, but that'll certainly be something we have to continue to watch. But again, whether it goes tornado warning or not, it's going to be a strong storm with some damaging winds at the very least. So we'll continue to monitor that. And that's back down in Sebastian County again. But back to the north, looks like we have a new cropped version of the tornado warning as they continue to work out the strongest areas of the storm that we're seeing. So Van Buren, you guys are still underneath this large tornado warning box. It extends from Rena now, as well as over towards Greenwood Junction, all the way down towards Harrelton, which likely has seen the worst of the storm so far. But again, Oak Grove, Wright Town, Shelby, Van Buren, the strongest area of rotation it seems to be right over you guys right now. Van Buren absolutely getting a downpour right now as well. So again, these storms are not like your usual setups. You're not going to see the structure and the tornadoes that you likely look for when we're talking about cameras, but we can certainly pull up one of the cameras really quickly. I could show you the Kisser camera over towards Dripping Springs. We're getting a lot of lightning down south in Waldron as well. But yeah, the Kisser camera, nothing to look at. It's rained out. You can't see anything. And that's just the nature of some of these storms as we continue to track this heavy, strong storm and tornado warning moving off to the portions of our viewing area, mainly down south in the River Valley.
And so I have another storm track plotted for this new tornado warning, especially like we've mentioned, it's been moving towards the northwest at 10 miles per hour. So if we're able to pull up Weather 2 real quick, there we go. You could see 8:58 p.m. Central Middle School, 8:58 p.m. Also King Elementary School, Van Buren High School, definitely the Van Buren area, especially if you live on the northern portions or pretty much nearly the entirety of Van Buren, actually, in fact, should be in their safe place right now. 9:06 p.m. Coleman Freshman Academy, 9:13 p.m. Northridge Middle School, and of course Rena. We're still keeping an eye on Rena as well. Continues to get included in some of these regions. Now, keeping in mind, half of this polygon is still outside of the tornado warning. They've been issuing it little by little, but we've been seeing these rotations have been persisting for quite some time, especially around the Fort Smith and River Valley region and just south of Interstate 40. So we're definitely wanting to take that into consideration and keeping that in mind. So far, like I mentioned, if you're just now joining us, Northwest Arkansas, so much a lot of storms and showers are of the garden variety. They don't bring a tornado threat as far as right now. Right now, we're keeping an eye on the storms down in the River Valley, and this is the only tornado warning we have. So far, we've seen tornado warnings for Sebastian County as well as Scott County. The one for Scott County has expired, so that one's not in place, but we're still keeping an eye on that area just in case those storms down south continue to ramp up in rotation once more. But so far, right now, Van Buren, you guys are the main concern right now with this tornado warning more than anything else. So if you live there, you definitely want to be in your safe place just in case.
Yeah, so I'm monitoring the messaging from some of the emergency management officials over across portions of Sebastian County as well as Crawford County. And they say that they had a storm chaser that reported a tornado on Hollis Lake Road. That is one of the streets that we called out moments ago, a few minutes ago. So we're certainly going to continue to monitor that, see if that storm chaser has any video of that. But this is within our messaging between the National Weather Service as well as emergency management officials. But again, that just shows you the nature of some of these storms. So if you have any loved ones or if you yourself are underneath a tornado warning polygon, you certainly want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place. We're going to zoom out and give you the big picture of radar. I know we were showing a lot of velocity, showing the winds, but that's because that's where you see the rotation. And when you don't have cameras with all of the rainfall, it's a little easier to see that. So we're going to zoom out and give you the big picture. We still have strong storms moving across portions of Scott County. This is likely pushing up towards the Waldron area. I saw a lot of lightning with that storm a few moments ago, briefly before we went full screen. Not seeing much in terms of rotation anymore. That's why that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So certainly going to continue to monitor that. Also, really quickly, just want to continue to show the latest messaging. Yeah, so we can bring you up the latest messaging of what you need to do when you have a tornado warning that's issued underneath your area. And that's the look from Waldron, a very electrified storm, I might say. Hopefully we don't lose that camera.
Yeah, we've also continued to keep an eye on Kisser FM over in Dripping Springs, because typically that has a really good view of Van Buren, but right now it's completely shrouded in rain, so we're not able to see anything out of that as well. Also been keeping eyes on our Alma camera as well, and I have not seen anything from there. But so far, when it comes to tornado safety, you definitely want to remember duck downstairs, basement, preferably under something, as well as stairways and center of the house. So think of your most interior room within the building that you are in right now, and also especially keep away from windows, because glass can easily shatter, also allowing all those winds to come in and could definitely cause some damage. So remember, once again, duck downstairs under something, center of the house, keep away from windows. So far, these storms have been moving at about 10 miles per hour. Keeping in mind the tornado warning that we have plotted has been moving very slowly, and not only that, towards the northwest as well. So you're getting a good look outside of one of our cameras right now to understand and see that there's a lot of lightning across the region, especially.
I'm going to switch this camera over to the Alma camera that we have to see if we can have a better view of it if it's up, because the Kisser looking in, you'll likely see that you're just going to see a bunch of rainfall, but we could see a little bit better of a view of this storm from our Alma camera as we continue to track the latest. Still seeing a lot of rain over Van Buren, strong winds as well. Tornado warning is still issued, so we want to treat this as it continues to pass off. We've seen these quickly spin up and die down, but certainly seeing some strong winds entering the portions of Van Buren now. Again, we still have water. Okay, so it looks like that camera is up. We can pull up that camera really quickly, see what it looks like. So yeah, so we have a little bit better in terms of structure of a view of the storm, but still, again, with the stadium lights right there, it's going to be hard to see anything as we continue to move that around. But again, that's showing you a little bit better of a storm, not necessarily rained out in the Alma region just yet. As we continue to track the latest, it is raining, but not necessarily the heaviest of the downpour. But you can see some of the lightning strikes off in the distance as well, as we continue to orientate the camera from our Alma camera. But again, Van Buren, you guys, that's the popular area, or I should say populated area, likely under a heavy downpour right now. Still have that tornado warning that's issued. There you see very electrified storm at the very least. And we're still tracking some of those circulations. Still broad circulation if we can just maybe box Mega Doppler, but keep the Alma camera up since that's the best view we have. But yeah, so there we see Van Buren, strong winds entering into the region right now, the city of Van Buren. Not necessarily seeing rotation on radar, but again, we don't want to drop our guards. We're going to treat this as if we're still seeing rotation, broad rotation, just off to the south and west of the Izzard Center for Learning. Izzard Center for Learning, forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, Central Elementary. So these are entering some of the populated areas, as we mentioned, as you start to see some of those schools. So just to the south of Smeltzer, East Gate Place, and Oak Grove, James R. Tate Elementary, Wright Town, Catcher. Some of the areas that we were still mentioning earlier, still seeing areas of broad rotation. And that's why that tornado warning polygon is so large.
Yes, and I can go ahead and pull up real quick a storm track for you guys. Once again, these storms have been moving very slowly, to say the least, about 10 miles per hour. Like we mentioned, Summit Medical Center, 8:56 p.m. In about 5 minutes. You definitely want to be in your safe place. You should be in your safe place right now. JJ Izzard Elementary School, again, excuse me if I also pronounced that incorrectly, 8:57 p.m., 9 o'clock p.m., Van Buren. So pretty much this is expected to pass Interstate 40 closer to around 9 p.m. and then that's when it could be impacting Van Buren. Also wanting to keep in mind, commuters' visibility is very low right now, especially with how slow moving these storms are, and they have been causing the concern for flash flooding as well. So as always, when it comes in, when you see a floated roadway, make sure you turn around, don't drown, of course, because low visibility, it's very hard to tell how deep waters can be, especially since they're falling at such a rapid rate at the current moment.
Yep. So we're showing you live Doppler radar right now, giving you those tracks that meteorologist Alessia Castro just did. We have that camera. That's our Alma camera from, I believe, the elementary, showing you the best view of the storm we have right now, because our Dripping Springs camera, if we show you that, you're just going to see rainfall. This actually has just a little bit of a better view, even with the stadium lights that are on right now. Obviously, that's out of our control. But I want to bring your attention back to Mega Doppler really quickly, because we can show you what's going on in the big picture. So we have that tornado warning box that's over towards the Van Buren region. You can see that right now. It extends from Marina all the way towards New and Old Harrelton. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, but Cross Lanes, yeah, New Old Harrelton. It extends all the way down from there. We're actually getting pictures in right now as I speak from some of the damage into Sebastian County from some of the emergency management officials. So that's certainly a concerning thing to see, but that just shows you that these quick spin ups are still dangerous, whether they're not your typical classic supercell structure that we see right now. Meteorologist Lester Castro, looks like you have some new messages.
Yes, of course. Coming from radio traffic, this was about 10 minutes ago. Rescue crews were responding to a tree that fell on a house in Sebastian County. They don't have a town yet of where exactly it happened, but crews cannot get to it due to some flooding in the area. And on top of that, it looks like near Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith water rescue is in progress as well. So there is no flash flood warning mentioned for this area, but we have been seeing, looks like a water rescue in place. Definitely going to let National Weather Service Tulsa know to see if we can try to get a flash flood warning in place, because it looks like people are being impacted by floods on the roadways, and that's definitely concerning. On top of that, we do have that circulation around the region as well. So even after the circulation passes, you're still seeing heavy rain on top of that, and that does cause extra concern.
Right. So if you're just now joining us, we do have tornado warnings that have prompted us to cut into live media coverage. So we apologize for that, but this is certainly life-threatening situations that we have across portions of our viewing area right now. And we were mentioning some of the rainfall a little earlier. It's been rainy and gloomy all day, especially along and south of Interstate 40. And now, of course, you hate to hear that. Now we're starting to hear water rescues that need to be happened because of flash flooding. And we were talking about some of those low-lying, flood-prone areas. Water can quickly rise. So that's certainly, again, something you want to keep in mind, whether you're underneath a severe thunderstorm warning or not, or a tornado warning or not. Again, so much rainfall has fell over the region within the past 12 to 24 hours, and this is certainly going to cause some problems. But we still do have this tornado warning in place for portions of Rena all the way down to Van Buren, across portions of Sebastian County, entering into Crawford County as well. Looks like Sebastian County has been lifted from the north as on the newest cropping of the warning, but Crawford County, you guys are now the main county of concern. We still do have a strong storm that's entering into portions of that's in Scott County, as well as entering into portions of Franklin County, far extreme southwestern Franklin County over towards the Charleston region. That's another area of concern that we were calling out a little earlier. Again, not seeing much in terms of rotation, but definitely some strong straight line winds at the moment that could cause some damage. And we're seeing pictures of damage come in from some of the emergency management officials in Sebastian County. Looks like some of the shreds that were damaged over towards the Greenwood area, the 2600 block over towards Hendricks in the Greenwood area, seeing some sheds that were just absolutely destroyed. So
as well as a trailer that was also turned over.
Yeah, trailers turned over. So again, these storms are serious. They've been causing damage. We've had quick spin ups. Likely of course, it's going to take the National Weather Service to send out their survey team to measure and see what they had a tornado, but certainly on radar, absolutely confirmed as a tornado. But we're going to give you the latest on the live tornado warning we have right now. Looks like we still have this over towards, I should say, Greenwood Junction, Eastgate Place, Shibley, Van Buren, Oak Grove, Wright Town, Westville, just to the south of Rena. Still seeing broad rotation move throughout the city of Van Buren over towards Shibley as well as Eastgate. This has crossed the Alma Highway, the 3800 block of the Alma Highway, as well as US Highway 64, as you can see. So still very broad areas of rotation, strong winds at the very least. So treat this as you still have a tornado warning in place, because you do, even though we're not seeing anything of major concern as of right now on radar, that tornado warning is still in place. So we'll stay on as we've seen them drop off and then quickly reissue a new warning with this very specific storm that we're watching. Meteorologist Leslie Castro.
Yes, I also have a new storm track placed for this area since it's been a little bit since we showed one. So if we can go ahead and head on over to Max 2 there, that way we can show you real quick. Pretty much by now it's passing over Van Buren, so you guys should be in your safe place already. But beyond Van Buren, we have places around Coleman Junior High School, Northridge Middle School, Northridge Middle, or both, or it has Northridge Middle School on there twice, but by 9:08 p.m. should be there. Figure 5 by 9:22 p.m. Dripping Springs by 9:34 p.m., 9:46 p.m. The Cedarville area should also be keeping this in mind. The storm has been moving north at times and also northwest at times, so it's been a little bit sporadic when it comes to exact rotations. When it comes to that, I have been trying to keep an eye on Dripping Springs camera right now, and it's been hard to be able to look out of that region just because it is completely shrouded in rain. But if anything does come exactly over Dripping Springs, in fact, we should be able to see it. But right now, that is not the case, unfortunately. It's just completely shrouded. Like we've been mentioning, there has been heavy area across the region. On top of that, we did see, on top of this tornado warning, since we got word that there was water rescues happening, they just issued that flash flood warning as well for Crawford and Sebastian County. So definitely going to continue to keep this in mind here. If you guys are not necessarily within the tornado warning, you definitely want to keep in mind we are going to continue to see a heavy rain across the area that has already been causing flooding concerns, especially for rescue crews out there.
And just while we're here, while we're talking about this, I want to bring this to your attention really quickly, because today was not expected to be a severe weather day across the region.
No tornado risk or anything like that.
And that's the thing about weather. Weather can provide surprises. However, heading into tomorrow, there will be a threat of a very low end threat of tornadoes, as well as we continue to see heavy rainfall threats across tomorrow. So again, this is certainly going to be a little bit of an unsettled weather pattern over the next several days. So we want to make sure we stress that any flash flood warnings that are issued, you want to take that very seriously, as well as tornado warnings very seriously, because we're likely getting words of water rescues that are happening right now that's prompting the warning that you see. So now we have looks like they have the flash flood warning up, so it's just populated on Mega Doppler as well. So there you see what we're talking about: the entire county, southern portions of Crawford, and then almost the entire county of Sebastian underneath those that flood warning right now. So again, still have heavy rainfall possible and moving throughout portions of the region outside of the specific tornado warning. So again, if you see any flooded roadways, if you know any areas that are low lying, especially near swollen creeks and streams, definitely want to make sure you're keeping that in mind, and turn around, don't drown.
Yes, and can we also head on over to weather too real quick, because I definitely do want to give everyone a general overview of what is going on right now, because we have been getting questions about Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, there is no tornado threat right now. We have been seeing general garden variety of your showers and thunderstorms throughout the entirety of today, mostly showers. I've been out there myself, but as we move farther down south, this is where we're still keeping an eye on, especially between Crawford and Sebastian County, especially Crawford County, where there was a little bit of that rotation. But we can see that heavy rain and that tornado warning, very hard to spot. But if I zoom in closer, this circulation for the most part has already passed over Van Buren, has been moving towards the northwest or north of northwest at times, very slowly at 10 miles per hour, I'm talking. So this right now is the only tornado warning across the region. It is around that Van Buren area, and it looks like this tornado warning goes all the way up until 9 p.m. We're unsure if they're going to extend that tornado warning, and if they don't extend that tornado warning, then that's when we'll drop off on air. But nonetheless, still keeping in mind you still have your flash flood concerns across that area as well.
Yeah, that's definitely right. So we'll drop off if this tornado warning is allowed to expire within the next several minutes. However, we want to continue to stress that we could still see some new additional spin ups as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. It looks like they did go ahead and drop off that warning, but we still do have that flash flood warning, or that flood warning, I should say, in place right now. So make sure you keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and drop off of live TV coverage for right now. We'll remain live on our stream, but we'll drop off of live TV coverage for the moment. And then should anything prompt another warning, we'll cut right back into your current programming. But we wanted to bring you some of that special statements and, of course, that special weather. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in.
All right, guys. A lot happened within that little time frame. First and foremost, like Dan said, if you have any photos and videos, send it directly to us with our new weather service, 479wx.com. We're able to pull it up directly on Mega Doppler to be able to show it out there. On top of that, you definitely want to sign up and join the conversation right now. We'll be able to pull up photos and videos within the last 8 hours. And you could also put in an exact location of where exactly you took that photo if you wanted. I know it's a little bit, it caught everyone off guard. It caught me off guard too. I was actually at home watching a TV show, and then Davion, that's when I saw your message come in about tornado warning coming. And immediately I was like, Davion, I'm coming. I got here a little over 10 minutes. I think I got here like 3 minutes after the tornado warning was issued. So definitely had to get on air quick. And on top of that, Davion was able to set the live stream up. So honestly, props to Davion, especially since he was here. And I'm sure the weekend crew, this was not something we entirely expected. And like Davion, you mentioned, Storm Prediction Center did not have any sorts of tornado risk over us. So this definitely caught people by surprise, especially probably towards Greenwood, where we saw that potential quick spin up by the time we came in.
Obviously, I know Mega Doppler only goes back so far. And here's the thing, when you're not expecting tornadoes, obviously you still keep an eye on the radar. So I was seeing this.
Yeah.
Obviously, so this is not far back enough. So we'll probably have to go
there we
radar.
go.
We'll use radar just because it goes back just a little further.
All right. So
1 second.
So
bring back up.
Davion is going to be pulling that up real quick. And like I mentioned, Northwest Arkansas, guys, there is no concern right now, thankfully. River Valley, I know it caught you guys by surprise, and I know apparently there was a baseball game that was going on too, so I'm sure a lot of people may not have been happy, but honestly, this, especially today, a lot of people were not expecting this. We were not expecting this ourselves, but like you said, weather can come with many surprises, and that was exactly the case. So we had to cut in, obviously, when there's tornado warnings, but making sure you guys are safe as well. So Davion, you have that pulled up for us so that you can show us.
So this is the replay. So obviously, I mean, we're live. I'm preparing for shows because we do have some evening newscasts that go on, and you can just watch the area, the slight area of rotation over towards the Huntington and Greenwood area, and you can see that the bright reds on there we go. Let me use my pointer. See the little area that's bright red. We're keep an eye on that area because that's the area that we're most concerned about. And then notice how that lifted off to the north. That's likely producing a tornado right now. Really quickly, I wanted to say something as we continue to track some storms moving throughout the region here. Let's see if I can pull webcam. There we go. So what's going on? So Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff is on vacation, and obviously you have to adjust schedules and adjust timing and things of that nature. So I'll be on the morning shift coming with the upcoming week. Meteorologist Leslie Castro will be covering you guys tomorrow. Likely going to have to be on standby with meteorologist Josh Rugger. And of course, you guys know he's our morning meteorologist. So again, so that's why you're not seeing Dan Scoff right now, but he is on vacation. So we're manning the fort for him, but certainly want to continue to do so. And starting to see some concerning looks on Mega Doppler yet again.
All right, so let me go ahead and pull up Mega Doppler real quick to show you exactly what's going on. I know it's been a little bit of a surprise for everyone.
So this is that area. So we'll get back to the past rotation once the storms pass, but this is the area right now that we're watching. So again, not necessarily dropping off our guard just yet. Even though we dropped off live television, we're still tracking some rotation across portions of the region. So this is Mega Doppler, the Charleston area branch. This is some strong winds and likely trying to increase into a little bit of a hook echo. You can see right now, right over the city of Charleston, near towards Ursula, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Beverly, just to the west of Branch. So we could have yet another area of rotation trying to form, and this would be Franklin County, and this is again not in the area that we were talking about a little earlier. So we'll continue to monitor the latest, but if you live in Franklin County, especially over towards the Charleston area, definitely want to make sure you keep this in mind. Further downstream, Cecil, you guys, this storm will be heading towards you pretty soon within the next several, well, I should say the next 30 minutes or so, because these storms are moving pretty slow. But certainly want to continue to monitor that as we track these storms that move across the region. I know we kind of lost track, but the storm over towards Waldron certainly has a lot of lightning with it, but not necessarily seeing a area of strong rotation right now that's able to prompt a warning. But we still do have some broad rotation with this storm as well. So that's certainly something we'll continue to monitor as that pushes through Scott County over towards just to the west now of the Waldron area. But again, what a evening when you're not expecting severe weather. Severe weather can still happen. So that's just one of those things that has taken place across our viewing area.
Now, as Davion, well, do you want to go back to that real quick?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to this so that Davion can show you exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I want to do this because this will likely be an area that needs to be surveyed because this is a strong area of rotation. So notice this is just before 7:30. You can see right around 7:20, we're starting to get some strong winds come in. And it was at this point that I glanced over. Obviously, I'm taking notes. I'm writing down, doing the forecast sheet. You can see it's done, but I was putting the, I'll just have a little fun. Yeah, I was putting what we do the forecast sheet every day. so we can have our newscast done. And I glanced over at Mega Doppler and I saw this, and I was like, oh boy, that's that. Yeah,
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
immediately texted chat, incoming tour warning, and I just dropped everything. But look how fast this is. So this is 7:27. It's here.
Mm-hmm. Seven.
4 minutes later, it's all the way towards Greenwood,
That
and
yeah.
it's flying, and then it's gone, and it's gone, and then you get
That
the
was
warning,
a quick spin up.
and then you get other spin ups that happen. So it's just one of those things with this type of setup that you always want to make sure you don't drop your guard.
Yes, of course. It's been a little bit of a doozy thus far when it comes to today thus far. And there's that look at Mega Doppler right now. I'm going to go ahead and try to show you some WeatherBug Network cameras. We've been looking towards Alma. As you can see, it is completely dark out there now. Try to see if I could see anything from Alma whenever I could. And thus far, I was not able to. I'm also trying to see if we have Dripping Springs here. Dripping Springs, I mean, it was shrouded in rain completely, entirely, and I could not see anything out of this, especially when the storm was headed towards Van Buren, especially. And then we were also looking towards Waldron.
Pull up Waldron right now. Waldron is getting
Waldron
slammed.
again.
So this is that strong area.
Horizontal rain curtains. Once again, you can tell, especially under that light. I believe this is facing towards a little bit towards the southeast because look at that. Yeah, there was someone driving. A lot of lightning out there as well. So definitely not fun to be out there, to say the least. On top of that, we have flash flood warnings.
Area and rotation might try to go again.
All right, so let me go ahead and show you exactly what Davion is looking at.
Let production know really quickly. Forgive me.
Tell them to be on standby.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them to be on standby.
Yeah, there's two. That looks like two areas. Look at that, just south of Waldron.
Yeah.
And there we go. We have another tornado warning that just came out. Yes, exactly. So let production know. You can see that tornado warning right now. I'll go ahead and try to pull it up real quick here in just a second, especially on weather too, because that's exactly where I've been. But that's not even towards the Waldron area. I'll actually go ahead and show you real quick exactly where that tornado warning is. This is not for Waldron. This is actually for east
that's for the other one.
Franklin County.
Yeah, that's the one we saw before.
So that's the one we were just looking at. Right now, I'm going to get you guys squared away. We're already going to get ready live for air once all over again. So I'm sorry in advance for those who are probably watching baseball, but we got to keep these people aware of exactly what's going on.
Live safety comes first, lives and safety. We'll switch this back to PCR once this goes live.
Yes. So we'll be going live. There's that storm track moving 25 miles per hour real quick, guys. Definitely keep an eye on that. If you're in any of these areas, definitely want to be in your safe place. We are seeing this rotation ramping up right now, and we do not want to take it lightly.
Any cameras that can see this before we cut in?
Alma, maybe? Wait.
Alma, maybe.
Maybe. But Alma has to be looking straight to the south.
Huntsville, look. Let's take Huntsville Middle School and point it due south.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Huntsville's a little far, but
we're ready. Go straight into it.
We're ready. Good evening, everyone. This is meteorologist Davion Huggins, and of course, I'm here with meteorologist Leslie Castro. I'm sorry to cut into your live programming yet again, but we have yet another tornado warning across portions of our viewing region. So we're going to get you caught up necessarily with the latest as soon as we speak. So here's live Doppler radar right now. We already have the track in store for you. I'll let meteorologist Leslie Castro go ahead and take it away from there.
Yes, so we have our storm track. This storm is moving at 25 miles per hour. So definitely wanting to keep that in mind, of course. And this will be lasting all the way up until 10 p.m. right now. Now, this is mostly focused on Franklin County. And you could see by 9:15 p.m. Grand Prairie Church, if you're in that area, you definitely want to be in your safe place. 9:28 p.m. Oak Grove Church, as well as Cecil. Excuse me if I say that incorrectly. By 9:29 p.m. Popping by 9:35 p.m. or Poping. And then 9:39 p.m. Ozark Bible Institute, and then Tony by 9:41 p.m. Now, these storms are beginning to pick up a little bit more in these warnings. Earlier, we were seeing tornado warnings at 10 to 15 miles per hour. This is at 25 miles per hour. And on top of that, we have been seeing some horizontal rain curtains across the day here and the evening with some of these storms here. So we are definitely not taking any of this lightly. Have also been seeing some flash flood concerns across the area as well. But we can go ahead and send it on over to Max 1, where Davion is going to be giving you all the latest when it comes to the information on this system.
Yep. So this is the newest tornado warning, as meteorologist Leslie Castro just said. This is heading towards. First of all, this is Franklin County. This will be moving over towards the Cecil area, but right now it's just to the north of Charleston and just to the northwest of Branch. And this is the area of interest we're talking about right now. So we'll switch this over to the velocities because there's not a camera in sight right now that would have a good look. So we'll show you what we're seeing on radar. And again, we have those greens right next to those reds showing you that this is trying to tighten up as a circulation. So this is a broad area of circulation, and then especially over towards the south of Vesta and over towards Peter Pender, north of Branch. These are some of the areas of the strongest rotation right now, and it's certainly concerning. We can look at another product that we have called normalized rotation, and I'll backtrack this a little bit, and you can see those areas trying to form into what we call strong rotation. You can see that just to the south of Vesta as we continue.
We can go to the Mount Magazine. If we can go to Mount Magazine camera, we have an impressive view of this storm, and it is being lit up by lightning right now. So if we're able to pull that up real quick over in the production area, and wow, this is impressive. Let's go ahead and leave this up for just a little bit longer so you can see how big this area is. And my God, this is very big lowering, to say the least. So we're definitely going to continue to keep an eye on that right now. Hopefully lightning will be able to light. So if we can go on over to Mount Magazine, because right now this is the Waldron camera. Hold on, Davion will be pulling it up real quick for us. So if we can go to Mount Magazine real quick, and that way we'll be able to see exactly what we're looking at. So right now, here's a view of Mount Magazine, guys. And you can see it lit up by
Mount
lightning.
Magazine is to the southwest of the storm, looking into it from the southern side, so it won't be shrouded in all that rainfall. My goodness,
look at that.
That is a huge lowering right now. So this is a wall cloud that's moving over towards moving over towards the city of Cecil. This is in Franklin County, but we're looking at it from Mount Magazine over towards in Logan County. So definitely want to be in your tornado safe place if you're underneath this polygon. This is serious business, as this could try to put down a quick spin up tornado. This is certainly a pretty concerning look to this storm right now as we continue to see this. So it's dark right now. We're getting the lightning flashes that will illuminate and tell us what we see, but certainly a huge structure of the wall cloud right now on Mount Magazine.
All right, so if we're able to pull up Mega Doppler and have this camera in the bottom corner, that way everyone can get a good view.
You can pull up you can make the camera bigger and put Mega Doppler in the smaller one, so you can see if we can do that. So yeah, and then we can do Mega Doppler, and we'll switch it back over for you. Man, look at that. That is what a view.
So if we can go over to Max 1 real quick, Davion will be giving you all the latest on that information. If we can switch these two cameras as well so that we can have that in the bottom corner, because I think it is important that Davion will be covering the velocity and the circulation as far as we can see. And you can see lightning just being blasted off. Definitely an electrified storm, to say the least. And you can see that lowering just right there in the center of the camera.
So yeah, so this is again our Mount Magazine camera looking north into the storm, and you can see a very well-defined lowering with this storm. It's certainly very concerning as we continue to see broad areas of rotation try to narrow up and put down brief spin-up tornadoes. So you can see in your bottom right corner, this is Mega Doppler over towards the community of Vesta, Peter Pender, just to the north and northwest of the city of Branch. Just definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place immediately. That is the most dangerous portion of the storm. However, this tornado warning polygon extends all the way through central and even portions of north central Franklin County. So Cecil, just to the west of Mulberry, just to the east of Ozark. You guys all need to be in your tornado safe place, as this danger storm eventually will cross over US Highway 64. But again, that's about as best a view as you'll get with some of these storms, as they've been shrouded in rain. This is the best view we've had with these storms all day. So again, a pretty concerning look on Mega Doppler as well as in person. In fact, just continuing to monitor the latest. They also extended some of those flood warnings as well. But again, this is certainly a concerning storm. You can see the amount of lightning with this storm that lets you know that this storm is not done intensifying. Usually when you see those lightning strikes continue to ramp up, you have a strong storm happening right now. And you can see that every lightning strike, we get to illuminate the base of that storm. And man, that is pretty concerning. It's pretty concerning to see. So again, you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately as this storm continues to push off to the northeast at 25 miles per hour, or north, I should say, at 25 miles per hour. So, Meteorologist Cash, I'll let you take it away.
Yes, I do have a storm track here. So if we're able to pull up weather too real quick, especially in the bottom corner, that way people can continue to have an eye on this real quick. So I'm going to read out places because it might be a little bit hard to see right now, but the storm has been moving at 25 miles per hour towards the northeast this time around. So 9:32 p.m. if you're around the Oak Grove Church, or 9:33 p.m. Cecil, and then 9:43 p.m. Ozark Bible Institute, then 9:45 p.m. Tony, 9:51 p.m. Cravens and Cravens Church. Then by there's a typo here, but 9:54 p.m. White Oak, and then 10 p.m. and Watalula, I believe is how you say it. These areas definitely need to be in their safe place because it looks like this rotation has been trying to ramp up here, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. Once again, you could see the base of the storm on our Mount Magazine camera. This is the best view we can have, and it may be hard to tell, but lightning has been able to eliminate it, and especially on the back end of it. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on this camera to see if anything arises, because if anything does, this is going to be our best view of it. This camera has not been shrouded in rain. A lot of our other cameras, such as Alma, for example, has been shrouded in rain. So we have not been necessarily been able to pull this up. And on top of these storms coming through, we have been seeing flash flood concerns as well.
All right, so that's definitely looking concerning. So I'm gonna plot some streets. If we can switch back over to weather one really quickly in the bottom right corner, I'm going to zoom in really quickly, and I'm going to plot some streets within this tornado warning polygon that should be in their tornado safe place. So we have State Highway 215, the 8900 block of State Highway 215 over towards the community of Vesta. Be in your tornado safe place immediately. Strong winds about to enter into Chapel Hill Road, if not happening already, just off to the east of that, or west of that, I should say. 5700 block of Anise Road. Definitely want to be in your tornado safe place. And again, this storm is lifting off to the north at 20 miles per hour. So if you're anywhere within this tornado warning polygon, you need to be in your tornado safe place. Another camera that may have a good view of this as this storm continues to push off to the north would be our cameras in the Huntsville area. Our Huntsville Middle School or our Huntsville Airport camera may have a good look at this storm once it gets a little closer, if we point that to the south. But again, this is a live look at the camera from Mount Magazine. Mount Magazine is in Logan County. That's looking off to the north.
Look at that base.
That base is very low to the ground. So certainly continue to be in your tornado safe place, as this could be a very strong storm entering into the region, capable of producing, if not already producing, quick spin up tornadoes as we continue to track this system. And Mega Doppler right now continuing to show that rotation is still broad, but still very strong as well. You see those bright greens showing you stronger winds, excess of 40 to 50 miles per hour in some of these areas. So again, not necessarily seeing very tight couplet, but certainly still has that classic look that we look for when we're talking about tornadoes on radar. So again, be in your tornado safe place immediately.
Yes, exactly. And once again, I do have a storm track for this if we're able to pull it up once more. The storm has been moving at 25 miles per hour, so you can see it right there, right in front of you. 9:36 p.m. Oak Grove Church, 9:37 p.m. Cecil, 9:43 p.m. Poping, 9:47 p.m. Ozark Bible Institute area, and then 9:49 p.m. Tony, and then 9:57 p.m. Cravens Church. And then beyond that, a lot of it is outside of the tornado warning. Once again, this will be going up until 10 p.m. So we have this tornado warning for another 40 minutes. So we'll continue to keep up with this storm real quick while we can.
And it looks like we're starting to see indications that this storm is ramping up and trying to put down a tornado right now. We're starting to see stronger velocity signatures on portions of this couplet. So you can see over towards the community of Vesta is a very, very rural community. But again, the 5800 block, this is Case Road, north of Vesta, and this will be State Highway 215. This looks like the strongest area of rotation likely trying to come together right now, right along that storm. And we continue to show you the camera because that has our best view of this storm right now. And if we switch things over to radar, and I'll do the double panel so you can see the area we're talking about, that classic notch that you see. If we can switch things over to weather one really quickly, that classic notch that you see coincide with that strong area of circulation just to the north of Vesta. You can see what we're talking about. In fact, we can pull this up really quickly, and there you see that inflow notch still over towards the community of Vesta. So this is the most dangerous portion of the storm. I'll zoom out so you can get a better look, but that looks like it's putting down a tornado as we speak right now. So I'll go back to the one panel, give you a better view of this. And this is the area of concern that we're talking about right here. I'll try to see if we can get anything on our measurements, but nothing right now, but certainly strong rotation showing up within this storm. So again, you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately within this storm and with anywhere within this polygon as we continue to zoom out and give you the latest. And this will be heading over towards Anis Road here within the very short term right now. So we can bring back that camera now. And now that we've gone through and talked about the most dangerous portion of the storm, but this is the best view of the storm that we have. But the storm is moving away from the camera as we speak. So our next camera in line would be the Huntsville Airport or the Huntsville Middle School camera, if we have that up. Well, when we get to that, as the storm continues to draw closer. But I'll just let you, Castro, let you take it away.
So right now we can go ahead and pull up Max 2 if we want to and show you exactly the storm tracks in. If we can pull this up, thank you. So right now, 9:34 p.m. Cecil, definitely wanting to be in your safe place. 9:40 p.m. Poping, 9:44 p.m. Ozark, Bible Institute, 9:46 p.m. Tony, and then by 8:55 p.m. White Oak, and then 10:01 p.m. Watalula. So right now we're continuing to keep an eye on these storms. Of course, the storm has been moving towards the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of time before it gets there. But as we can see right now, also wanting to keep in mind Barnes at 10:10 p.m., 10:18 p.m. Cass, and also Beech Grove by 10:22 p.m. So it's a matter of how long this rotation sticks around before it reaches Barnes and Cass, to be exact. But so far, we're keeping an eye on Mount Magazine thus far and the camera, because that is exactly where we could potentially see some activity, as maybe even a power flash or two if it comes to that case. Thus far, it looks like velocity has been ramping up just a little bit. But Davion, if you want to go ahead and take away exactly on weather one.
Yeah, so we can switch things back over to weather one really quickly, and we can keep the exact same boxes we have with that camera still in view as well. So we're still seeing strong winds and very broad rotation with this storm as we look on radar and Mega Doppler right now, still within this tornado warning polygon. Very strong winds across portions of this storm. So you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately, even if we don't see a necessarily condensed funnel come down to the ground. Even when looking at it on camera, we can see that radar indication showing you very strong winds capable of producing tornado-like damage still possible within this storm as we continue to monitor the latest. So again, this is the latest scan for velocity. And the reason we're showing you velocity so much is because this is what tells the story when you also see the camera, because a lot of our cameras were shrouded in rainfall, but this has the best view as it is a little higher and not shrouded, looking off away from the storm. But again, velocities will tell you those areas of circulation that are trying to develop, whereas it's a little bit harder to see as a viewer from terms of rainfall. But again, just so you can show rainfall right now, the community of Cecil likely about to get in on some heavy rainfall. But the most dangerous area of the storm is this notch area that you see right here, as well as Point South. So this is the area just to the south and west of the community of Cecil, over towards lifted through the Vesta region, the Vesta community, I should say, again, but still keeping an eye on some of that rotation. It looks like it's still pretty broad right now, but it did try to tighten up a few moments ago, and that has been the story over the past several hours with some of these storms. So we'll continue to monitor that as they continue to issue this tornado warning that goes all the way until 10 o'clock.
Yes, and if anyone has any photos or reports, we have yet to make a graphic for this because this is something we've recently developed. We have 479WX, and you can get that at 479WX.com. We basically, you can post any photos and videos of anything you've seen across the entirety of this evening, and we'll be able to pull it up here. Thus far, I haven't seen any reports, but just to let you guys know, that's also an option. If not, you're also able to get onto your weather authority by scanning that QR code, and we are also able to pull up some photos here through another application we have. So if you guys can go ahead and send that in, that will be great. But in the meantime, like I've mentioned, we've been continuing to keep an eye on the storm, and we can go ahead and go on over to weather 2 real quick. I do have the storm track in place, and once again, this tornado warning is in effect all the way up until 10 p.m. So we still have another 35 minutes with it. And if this rotation begins to weaken, then they will cancel it prior to that 10 p.m. time frame. But until this goes away, we're going to be on air. So 9:36 p.m. Cecil, 9:42 p.m. Poping, 9:46 p.m. Ozark Bible Institute, then 9:48 p.m. Tony, as well as 9:57 p.m. Ignore the typo that is in that little box there, White Oak. And then we also have 10:03 p.m. Watalula, and then Barnes by 10, 12 p.m. Now, keeping in mind, Barnes is outside of the region, but it's just a matter of whether they choose to extend this tornado warning or not. But if I mentioned the majority of these areas, you definitely need to be in your safe place right now, just because the rotation has not been so friendly, and at any given point, a quick spin up could happen, like Davion has been mentioning. And once more, I will mention the storm has been moving at 25 miles per hour. And real quick, for anyone who is joining us, Northwest Arkansas, we're pretty much in the safe Benton County and Washington County to be exact, Carroll. And as far as we know, as of right now, Madison County, we are in the safe spot. We've been seeing garden variety when it comes to your showers and storms across the region. No rotation with any of that. But right now, our main concern is this one tornado warning that is covering Franklin County. And like I mentioned, if you're in any of those areas that I mentioned, you definitely need to be in your safe place. And like we mentioned, duck, you definitely want to be downstairs under something, center of the house, and also wanting to keep away from windows if you are within this tornado warning. Davion, I'll send it back to you.
Yep. So we're continuing to see that camera in the bottom left show you the lightning strikes. This is looking from Mount Magazine, looking into the storm. The storm is moving away from Mount Magazine as it continues to lift a little northward. So the vision that we had will continue to get a little less, and as it looks on the backside and see some of that rainfall. But again, we're going to show you the latest storm updates. This is the latest velocity scan showing you, or latest radar scan showing you, that we still have this supercell look to across portions of Franklin County, moving right towards the community of Cecil. This will eventually cross U.S. Highway. I believe this is 64, if I'm not mistaken. But again, a little bit further south of there. But right now, as we take a look at velocity, two areas of concern right now. Looks like there's two areas trying to rotate, but we have a very broad area of rotation with very strong winds along State Highway 96 over towards the west portions of the community of Cecil. But again, that area of rotation likely moving right through the community right now of Cecil in Franklin County. So again, you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately. We just showed you the DUCK acronym that we always talk about here on KNWA. Definitely want to make sure you're aware of that. But again, definitely want to make sure you're continuing to stay safe and in your tornado safe place. Not necessarily very concerned about tornadic rotation right now. It's still very broad in nature, but definitely still something to keep in mind as we've seen these quickly spin up. That has been the story this evening.
So right now, Old Greenwood Road and Phoenix Avenue are completely submerged underwater. We're just now getting that information. Again, keeping in mind there is a flash flood warning for the majority of Sebastian County. In fact, that will be lasting for quite some time. So if you see any flooded roads, turn around, don't drown. And this comes with another concern. We've been seeing a lot of heavy rain across the area, and it looks like there were possible two spin-ups that happened earlier in Sebastian County as well, including one that had a weak CC. So that could have been confirmed, and there has been damage reports coming in from across the area. But on top of that, when we have these flash flood concerns, we've already seen that rescue crews cannot necessarily get to the damage and where it has occurred, and could make rescues harder. So like I've mentioned, if you are in this area, you definitely want to be in your safe place right now. We're trying to keep everyone informed of what has happened across the area. I know it's been a little bit of a surprise to the majority of the people, in fact, when it comes to the fact that we've been having these tornado warnings, because it was not initially expected. But like we know, weather can have its surprises from time to time, and today is the perfect example of that. Like I've mentioned, we've already seen two possible spin ups earlier, and that was pretty clear on our mega Doppler here. So we definitely want to take that same concern going into this tornado warning.
Yep. And you can see as we continue to monitor that, just as we said, at the very least, you have heavy rainfall that's happening right now across portions of Franklin County. And we could eventually even see a flood warning or a flood advisory get issued for Franklin County as well. But again, if you have anyone that's in the county, I should say, of Franklin, especially over towards the community of Cecil, you definitely want to make sure that they are in their tornado safe place. Again, meteorologist Leslie Castro mentioned how today's aspect of severe weather was more so of a surprise because there was not the expectation of long periods of severe weather. But you can see that we still do have areas of rotation moving throughout the Franklin County right now. And at the very least, this is going to be able to provide some damaging winds, likely in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour, as we continue to monitor this storm. And of course, we still have that camera up showing you the very latest on radar, but this still continues to be a very concerning portion of the storm over the community of Cecil in Franklin County, lifting off to the north at 25 miles per hour as we continue to track the latest. So certainly a pretty unsettled evening across portions of the viewing region. Again, this is mainly to the south as of right now. Northwest Arkansas, you guys are fine. But again, right now, the most dangerous storm is in Franklin County, lifting off to the north at 25 miles per hour. And this will eventually cross over State Highway 66 as well as US Highway 64. That may see a little bit more traffic as we go towards the rest of this evening and as the storm lifts north. So again, make sure you're in your tornado safe place. There you see the latest velocity scan as it updates. It continues to lift and crawl at a snail's pace over towards the community of Cecil, which is a little concerning. So again, strong winds entering in right now, but you need to be in your tornado safe place immediately as these storms continue to pass through the region.
Yes, and like I mentioned, I do have that storm track here if we want to go ahead and pull it up. And also having that view from Mount Magazine. We've had the view from Mount Magazine for quite some time now, just to see if we have anything that we can potentially spot from here, such as power flashes. But the storm is moving away, but you could see the storm has been producing a little bit of a beast with a lowering that we saw earlier in terms of the cloud cover. And there has been a lot of lightning associated with the storm as well. So we're definitely going to continue to keep an eye on that, of course. But Cecil by 9:37 p.m., you definitely want to be in your safe place. 9:45 p.m. Tony, also at 9:45 p.m. around Pleasant View High School, and then Cravens by 9:55, then White Oak by 9:58 p.m., and then Watalula by 10:04 p.m., and then Barnes as well by 10:14 p.m., and then Cass by 10:22. Now, some of these areas are outside of the viewing region, but it's just a matter of what they decide to do. Once again, it says this circulation has not been quite able to hold the outflow back enough yet to get fully organized, but there's a possibility for that to change there, and then we could see something potentially spin up there. And once again, we have to take this seriously because we did see 2 spin ups earlier from some of the storms that went through, especially Sebastian County earlier. So we definitely want to take this seriously, especially for those in Franklin County. And also keeping in mind, if you're in Northwest Arkansas right now, there is no threat at the current moment. So far, it's been mostly focused around the River Valley region, and that's why we've been focusing down there a lot more than we have up north, because I know a lot of people have their concerns, of course, when you're seeing this type of information being thrown out there. But we're trying to get it all organized for you as much as possible as we continue to focus on the circulation here in Franklin County.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We were seeing some messages a little earlier talking about or asking if there's any tornadoes or tornado warnings in Northwest Arkansas. No, right now, our main focus, this is the only tornado warning in our region. We had multiple earlier, but right now, this is the only one that's sustained very large lightning strike on Mount Magazine right now. There you see. But again, we still have this tornado warning as this storm continues to lift off to the north, getting closer and closer to the community of Cecil. There you see the newest cropped version of the warning. They just cropped out. And so this shows you the area of the storms that are no longer. So far extreme southern Franklin County, southwestern, where the storm initially was, over towards the Charleston community. You guys are no longer underneath this warning. It has now lifted far north of you, but the community of Cecil, as well as majority of central Franklin County, still underneath this warning that you see as that storm continues to lift off to the north. And then again, as we continue to look at velocity, not necessarily seeing much in terms of outflow, which would be the red colors that you see, but inflow certainly still very strong. We have wind gusts likely exceeding the 50 to 60 mile per hour range across portions of just to the north of the community of Vesta, right along State Highway 96 and over towards Cecil as well. And again, this will eventually be lifting off towards US Highway 64. So if you know anyone that will be traveling in between Ozark, Webb City, and Mulberry, a little bit more populated communities compared to the further south area, definitely want to make sure you let them know that a danger storm is going to be crossing that interstate here within the next several minutes. Strong winds will certainly be causing visibility to be definitely lessened over the next several minutes. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Again, this is the newest cropped tornado warning. It's only for Franklin County. So again, just want to reiterate that Northwest Arkansas is fine when it comes to tornado warnings, just scattered showers and maybe occasional lightning strikes. But this is the most dangerous storm in the viewing area right now as this tornado warning continues heading into the 10 o'clock hour.
And yes, and I can go ahead and plot the storm track for you guys. I have it here available on Weather 2 for you guys real quick, because they did, upgrade that warning a little bit. But keeping in mind, the storm is actually slowing down a little bit. This newest tornado warning is not at 25 miles per hour anymore. It's at 15 miles per hour. And we've been seeing with these slower storms, on top of that, the flooding concerns that we have been mentioning across the night. So definitely keeping that in mind. But Cecil, by 9:40 p.m., you definitely want to be in your safe place right now. This rotation is definitely continuing to stay there. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. Of course, it's going to be passing right over you guys. And there's also, looks like, some rear inflow that is very fast at that too on the back end that Davion's looking at right now. But Citadel, Bluff Park by 9:50 p.m. Also keeping in mind you definitely want to be in your safe place. And then Cravens by 10:11 p.m. and also Cravens Church if you live around that area 10:14 p.m. and then White Oak by 9:15 p.m. as well. Also keeping in mind that this will be passing over Interstate 40, so we want extra concern for our drivers out there who have low visibility on top of flooding concerns, and now on top of this possible tornado concern on top of that if the circulation decides to ramp up and strengthen at any given point.
Yeah, so I want to provide a quick update. If we could switch things back over to Mega Doppler really quickly, I want to show you when we're talking about inflow, the green color that you see is not coincided with the red colors that will prompt tornado warnings. But I want to bring your attention to this because there are two areas of concern right now. We have this area just to the south of Cecil, right over the community of Cecil right now. We've been hooting and hollering about that as this continues to lift north. But Pleasant View heading towards Mulberry, it looks like there's another area trying to organize. This has some strong winds in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. This could potentially make a couple of customers lose power as these strong winds continue to enter into a more populated area based on where they've been before. So again, Pleasant View over towards Union Pacific, PR, Mulberry. You guys are not necessarily in the tornado warning box, but these strong winds are certainly going to be impacting you here in the short term. So definitely want to look at that. This newest velocity scan continuing to show those winds increasing, likely getting into the 60-mile-per-hour range now as we continue to track this right to the south of Mulberry. So Union Pacific, our Pleasant View, getting in on some of those strong winds right now. So definitely make sure you're in your tornado safe place, even if you're just outside of this warning, I should say, over towards the community of Mulberry, because we have some very significant strong winds that are moving through the region right now in this tornado warning polygon. The community of Cecil, looks like that area of rotation has started to weaken quite a bit, but we're still going to keep an eye on that. But again, the strongest portion of this storm right now looks to be just to the south of Mulberry on the far western fringe of this large tornado warning polygon right now. And the reason we know the reason why they drew the large polygon, because these storms have spun up and then passed on to another storm that has quickly spun up. So you just need to draw a polygon that big. But the most dangerous aspect of the storm right now, certainly to the south of Mulberry, but we still do have that inflow notch over the community of Cecil. So we'll continue to monitor both areas. But again, just make sure you're in your tornado warning space, tornado safe place, I should say, as we continue to track these storms move throughout the region.
All right, so once again, if we can go on over to weather too, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are probably asking for updates region-wide, in fact. And first and foremost, so far it has been your garden variety of showers and storms in Northwest Arkansas. We are beginning to slowly see some of this heavier rain beginning to slowly move into, for example, Washington County, but there is no circulation concern with that as far as we've been aware. However, those areas did produce some circulations earlier, but right now we're definitely keeping an eye on that because it looks like there could be some possible circulations with that in the meantime. But so far, we're just going to keep an eye on that. Have been seeing some heavier rain as well, just passing along Interstate 40. So I'll try to pull up some iDriver cameras as well so that we can try to get a good view of what's happening out there. But as you could probably expect, low visibility as well. I definitely do want to continue to keep an eye on Mount Magazine because we have been seeing some lightning lighting up this area as well. Been trying to keep an eye on those storms for sure. It looks like there's lightning off in the distance, but definitely wanting to make sure that there are no power flashes or anything like that as we continue to keep an eye on that area that we've been talking about. So what area do we have that tornado warning? That's a great question. And so far, I do have a little bit of this storm track plotted for you guys to be able to tell, but Citadel and Cecil, well, Cecil, it's pretty much passing over Cecil right now, but Citadel, Bluff Park, and if you live in that area, you definitely want to be in your safe place by 9 9:50 p.m. By 10:11 p.m., Cravens, and around the Cravens Church as well by 10:14, 9:15 p.m., White Oak, 10:14 p.m., Enon Church, and then 10:26 p.m., Waterloo. I plotted a little bit of a shorter track as of right now just to cover the majority of that tornado warning, and this storm is slow moving at that. We've been talking about Cecil for quite some time now just because of how slow the storm has been moving. It's been moving at about 15 miles per hour. So we're definitely going to continue to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's down from 25 miles per hour a
Yes,
little earlier today.
correct.
And also a little earlier today, the reason we're concerned about these storms, as they do have history of putting down at least tornadoes, at least putting down some damage as well. So we do have reports from earlier today when these storms were moving through portions of Sebastian County before the flood warnings took over, that there were some damage to trees as well as barns and roofs and structures over towards the Excelsior area of Sebastian, Arkansas, or 1 mile to the southeast of that, certainly over towards the Greenwood area as well. So these storms have history of producing damage, and that's why we're pretty concerned with some of these radar indicated tornado warnings that we're seeing right now. And they, again, when you have history of producing damage, you want to treat this seriously. So we still do have this tornado warning as this storm continues to crawl at a snail's pace over towards the U.S. Highway 64 in Franklin County. This will be over strong winds entering into the city of Mulberry now as we speak. We also still have that area of potential rotation north of Cecil now as well. So again, this is a very slow moving storm. We've been talking about some of the same communities over and over again. And we want to stress that this is the main area of concern right now across the entire viewing region. This is the only tornado warning we had. We had multiple storms producing tornado warnings a little earlier this evening. Now we only have one, just this one storm that we're watching, and certainly seeing some very strong returns of 60+ mile per hour winds entering into the Pleasant View area. You can see that's indicated by the very bright colors of green and entering into the blue shades. That's wind gusts excess of 60 miles per hour entering into Mulberry. That's certainly able to do damage regardless of if it's a spin or straight line wind. So again, you want to treat this as it's a tornado warning, as we have that tornado warning box. So again, respect the polygon. If you're underneath this tornado warning, you definitely want to make sure you're in your tornado safe place until this tornado warning will be lifted at 10 o'clock, unless it gets extended, continuing to see. So, and it looks like the wind field really of this storm continues to expand. We're starting to see some of those strong winds over towards the Pleasant View area. We're also starting to see more of that over just to the north of Cecil, just to the northwest of Hoping and south of Tony. So again, this is inching closer and closer to US Highway 64. If you know anyone that's traveling along this highway, specifically in the area of this highway between Mulberry, Tony, and Ozark, you definitely want to let them know that very strong storm is going to be crossing over this highway within the next several minutes.
Yes, and I actually have some cameras pulled up real quick from the iDrive network. So if we're able to pull up Weather 2 real quick, and I want to show you a couple of cameras that we have. So first and foremost, towards the left, you have Interstate 40 near Dyer, just exit 20 in Alma, and you see people with their emergency lights. In fact, because visibility has been so poor for these drivers, on top of that, there has been driving or flooding concerns, I should say. And then the top right, you have Interstate 40 at Mulberry, so exit 24 for Alma or near Alma as well. Definitely wanting to continue to keep an eye on the fact that there's low visibility across Fort Smith and especially around the Alma area and just along Interstate 40. We're about to see this rotation and the main area of concern pass over Interstate 40 here in just a few. But once again, these storms have been very slow moving at that, so it has been producing a lot of rain over these areas. I think for the flash flood warning over in Sebastian County, in fact, they were seeing rates of 1 to 3 miles or 1 to 3 inches in an hour alone. So that is a very quick rate at that. And we have been seeing that there are some roads across the area that have been submerged underwater, have been seeing reports of a water rescue that happened along Rogers Avenue earlier. And then on top of that, we also had rescue crews that actually had a hard time getting to where they need to go. It's actually blocked because of flooded roads. And we're going to be seeing that same concern along Interstate 40. But not only that, just also keeping an eye on the fact that we do have these areas of rotation that could be passing over Interstate 40 as well. And with how fast it is, also horizontal rain curtains, we know that is not fun to see, even as a viewer here looking through the camera. So we're definitely going to continue to keep an eye on some of these cameras. But Davion, Davion has been just taking a quick look at some of the rotation that has been showing up on Mega Doppler here. So Davion, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, it looks like I was trying to make sure Mega Doppler wasn't crapping out really quickly, but there you see this tornado warning we still have. We still have this inflow notch, this area of concern over towards the north of Cecil. Again, we've been calling out some of the same communities over and over again as we get the latest scan on radar. We also have some strong winds over towards the Mulberry city of Mulberry. And again, this area of circulation looks a little better than it did moments ago, especially the one north of Cecil, as it continues to get closer and closer to US Highway 64. So again, I can't stress this enough. There are people traveling. It is the weekend. It's a Saturday evening. If you know anybody that's traveling along US Highway 64, especially on the stretch in between Mulberry all the way to Ozark, that's definitely the area of concern right now. You want to make sure that they know that pretty strong winds, if not yet a potential tornado, could be crossing over the highway within the next several minutes. So we need you in your tornado safe place, and if you're underneath this tornado warning, especially in this area. One thing that's pretty unique as well, we're starting to see an uptick in some of the lightning strikes as well in and around this area of circulation. So that's telling me that this storm is not yet done as it continues to try to put down a tornado. And in fact, looks like a firefighter, we're getting messages, a firefighter over towards the south of Cecil is reporting a lowering of a cloud base to the north of Cecil. And that's the area of concern that we're watching right now. So there has been reports of lowerings, and we saw that on our Mount Magazine camera as this storm was way south in far southern Franklin County. So again, continuing to monitor this. Again, I can't stress this enough. You need to be in your tornado safe place immediately.
Also looking at another report of a likely TDS from the Fort Smith radar, along with the spotter report and picture of a tornado from social media, actually. So it looks like this has possibly produced a tornado from what it looks like from that local storm report from emergency management. So we definitely need to take that seriously. We will not take that lightly, to say the least, but we're continuing to keep an eye. So far, a lot of these spin ups have been very quickly, so we have to be in our safe places. So like I mentioned, let me go ahead and update this storm track for you. It's been moving at 15 miles per hour, so I'm shifting it closer. Cecil, it is now to the north of Cecil, this area of rotation, but 9:52 p.m. Citadel Bluff Park, and then 9:12 p.m. Cravens around the Cravens Church area by 10:15, and then by 10:18 p.m. we also have White Oak, and then 10:26 p.m. Enon Church, and then Jethro by 10:30 p.m. So we definitely need to be in our safe places. We have been seeing reports of people mentioning lowerings, maybe a funnel cloud here and there.
Yeah.
But obviously the main concern is the fact that these are nocturnal storms as well. So visibility is really low when it comes to trying to get reports of these tornadoes. And a lot of times the only sorts of light source we have is actually the lightning that has been honestly across the area, because like you mentioned, lightning has been increasing in terms of intensity and just quantity here across the area, especially around that Cecil area.
Yep. So we're continuing. Again, this tornado warning will go until 10 o'clock unless it needs to be extended. So we'll continue to monitor that. In these latest couple of scans, it still has that look to it, as lets you know it has some broad areas of rotation. So we'll show you what we're talking about on velocity. And again, anytime you see the greens right next to the reds, then that has concern. And notice, so the reds right now still a little weak in terms of rotation, but the greens, the inflow is very strong with this storm. So we're seeing wind gusts in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour with this storm. So again, the community just to the north of Cecil over towards Tony, this will be crossing US Highway 64 now within the matter of minutes or so as the storm finally continues to lift off to the north at a very slow pace. We're talking about some strong winds over towards Mulberry. Those are continuing as well. But the strongest of the storm looks like it's back towards the center of this tornado warning polygon. So again, right along US Highway 64, in between Ozark and the community of Mulberry, you need to be making sure if you have anyone traveling, or if you're traveling on that highway yourself, you definitely know that there is certainly some strong winds coming. And there you see the latest scan that looks a little more concerning, as you see that the red has started to try to confine a little bit and hug the green colors that you're seeing, and that means tighter couplets, which means tighter areas of rotation. So this is certainly still a very serious storm, and that's why that tornado warning still exists. So again, if you're underneath this tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado safe place and stay in there until this tornado warning has lifted. I know it's a little troublesome as some of the tornado warning, it's a very large warning box and the storm is moving slowly. So you may be under this tornado warning and not necessarily experiencing anything tornadic whatsoever, but that does not mean that things can't change. So again, make sure you're staying in your tornado safe place until this tornado warning has lifted. As of right now, it has about another 10 minutes or so, unless it needs to be extended if we continue to see this storm continue to cycle and strengthen.
Yes, and I've also been looking at the iDrive network cameras since it's getting very
Yeah.
close to the highway there. But yeah, you could still see it looks like a little bit of lowering off in the distance from Mount Magazine. But I think this has begun to move away from Mount Magazine, so it'll be harder to see things from that camera with time there. But looking closer to the iDrive network, because Interstate 40 has already been impacted by heavy rain, but the circulation will be passing over Interstate 40 here in just a little bit too. Again, keeping in mind this has been moving very slowly at only 15 miles per hour. It was at 25 earlier, but now at 15. But keeping in mind, I'm just going to read out some of the exits we have here listed on the iDrive network and what's plotted in front of you. So we have exit 20 near Alma, exit 24 near Mulberry as well, and then Ozark near exit 37, and then farther to, or actually farther towards the west, we have exit 13 towards Alma as well. We have been seeing a lot of cars here with the emergency lights, low visibility to say the least. So it will be hard to be able to spot something from a distance if there's any circulation that does begin to strengthen, just because one, it's dark out there, and two, you have a lot of rain out there, so your visibility is going to be very poor. And on top of that, we've been seeing flash flooding concerns. So I can go ahead and show you real quick and the latest storm track for this kind of thing, just because with that being said, crews have been having a hard time checking on people and doing some rescues. And on top of that, there have been some water rescues because of the heavy rain here. So I do want to take that same sort of caution just around the Interstate 40 area as well. So Tony, by 9:59 p.m., you definitely want to be in your safe space. Cravens by 10:09 p.m., and then around the Cravens Church area by 10:12, and then 10:24 p.m. Enon Church and Jethro by 10:26 p.m. as well. And also keeping in mind, like I mentioned, the storm is moving at 15 miles per hour, and this tornado warning is going all the way up until 10 p.m. So it's just a matter of whether they're going to continue this tornado warning into farther into Franklin County, maybe possibly into Madison County. But in the meantime, that question is all up in the air. But we still definitely want to keep an eye on this rotation here while we still have an eye on it.
Yeah, that's definitely right. We're going to continue to monitor this. Again, we'll stay on air as long as we need to until this tornado warning has been lifted. But again, still a very dangerous storm as it still has that look to it. So again, if you're in underneath this tornado warning polygon, you definitely need to be in your tornado safe place immediately, as this storm has now started to cross over towards US Highway 64. And you can see very strong winds likely happening along on the interstate. In fact, I know we had some of those iDrive Arkansas cameras up right now. I'm not necessarily sure if they're getting any rainfall curtains in terms of what we had showing up, but definitely continuing to keep that in mind as we have some dangerous winds that are happening right now. Moving over towards the small community of Tony. This will also be moving over towards Lone Elm, Cravens, Faulknertown, White Oak. You guys are all underneath this tornado warning polygon. White Rock a little further downstream, but still underneath this warning. So right now it looks like they're leaning towards letting this expire based on the current trends, but it'll certainly continue to be a storm that we have to monitor over the next several days, or over, I should say, the next several minutes. So still have about 7 minutes or so with this tornado warning unless things pick back up. But as of right now, it looks like things should be allowed to expire within the latest scans as we continue to monitor this storm as it continues to lift off to the north. Eventually, this storm will be lifting into north central Franklin County. Again, we mentioned how it's moving at a snail's pace, only about 15 miles per hour with the latest update. Eventually, these storms will all be lifting northward into portions of Madison County, but they will be on a weakening trend. It's not much instability, especially where we've had a little more cloud cover with some of these storms across northwest Arkansas. So again, right now, the most dangerous aspect of the storm still along US Highway 64 in between Mulberry and Ozark. That is the strongest winds, but this is moving over towards Lone Elm, likely seeing heavy rain right now, Cravens as well. So we'll continue to monitor that over the next several days or over the next several minutes as we get the latest messaging in our National Weather Service Slack based on You see a lowering. Yeah, so we'll continue to monitor this. Not necessarily seeing, uh, do see a lowering from our Ozark camera. So again, so it's certainly still in the latest velocity, still showing that it's still spinning. It's still spinning. This is still a storm that we need to take seriously. Obviously, Mount Magazine not going to have the best view of this anymore as this storm has lifted pretty far north of there. Um, Now it looks like it'll be harder to see storms. It also has a storm right in front of it, blocking the view from Mount Magazine. The next camera, honestly, would probably be Huntsville, but because there's so much rain out ahead of the area of circulation, it'd be hard to see. But again, we're continuing to see reports of lowerings with this storm. Latest velocity scan looks like maybe there's two areas of circulation again, as we were seeing this happen a little earlier with this storm down to the south of Cecil. So now it looks like, again, the central and the far western fringe of this tornado warning box, it looks to be the most concerning area. This is off just to the east of the community of Mulberry, right along US Highway 64. And there you see the latest scan, continuing to see a tighter couplet
Yes.
just to the east of Pleasant Hill. So this is starting to certainly very concerning. Just to the east of Pleasant Hill, Marvin Elementary, Pleasant Junior High, certainly going to continue to be in your tornado safe place. This is the most dangerous aspect of the storm right now. This is over towards it. We'll plot some streets on here so you get an idea as this street is in between most of the town. So the 9600 block of Wire Road, just to the southwest of Lone Elm, definitely need to be in your tornado safe place. Strong winds incoming, if not already happening. The 800 block of Miller Road, I should say, or the 8000 block, definitely need to be in your tornado safe place. As we continue to track this circulation move off to the east. We have Deerfield Lane, the 8500 block of Deerfield Lane. These are some of the county roads that we're plotting right now, so you can get a sense of where this storm exactly is. And also County Road, let's see if I can get County Road 940. Definitely want to be in your tornado safe place as this circulation right on top of you. So those are some of the zoomed in areas of this storm that we're monitoring right now, as it looks like this thing is trying to ramp back up yet again. And that has been the story with some of these storms over the past several hours as we continue to track the latest. So it looks like this tornado warning, it may continue until 10 o'clock as we continue to see this trend of this uptrend happen right before this tornado is allowed to expire. And in fact, we can show you what's called normalized rotation and get the latest on that. And you can see still not showing a strong rotation, but that has likely hasn't updated with the latest velocity scan, as some of those scans come in at a little bit different in terms of timing. But again, a very dangerous storm that's already crossed US Highway 64, and it continues to lift off to the north. And this is actually on the very far fringe of this tornado warning. So we could see a new crop version of this tornado warning within the near future.
Yes, and I actually have a storm track pulled up for that rotation that's beginning to ramp off towards the west there. Now I'm a little bit zoomed out, but so far around the Center Point Church region. Well, this is, like you mentioned, already beyond Interstate 40, so this is a little bit further up north. But I'm trying to look at my Google Maps, in fact, to try to get some areas here that is not necessarily being captured by the radar right now that I have pulled up, or the storm track. But the White Rock area, very isolated, however, towards Fork Road, like you've mentioned, Davion, definitely wanting to be in your safe place. And then this will be heading towards the Mulberry River. And so far, for the most part, this will be heading into the mountains by the looks of it. But again, if you're in these isolated areas north of Interstate 40, you definitely want to be in your safe place. Honestly, now, like we've been seeing a lot of quick spin ups when it comes to these tornadoes. So you'd rather be safe than sorry, honestly, because if not, then it's already too late to heed that warning per se. So let's go ahead and real quick and just talk real quick about duck. Keeping in mind, for tornado safety, you definitely want to be downstairs under something, center of the house. So think of the most interior room, maybe a closet or a bathroom, and then keeping away from windows as well.
That's certainly right. Such a good acronym. We're continuing to monitor the latest scans. Looks like the latest scan, it has looked like it weakened some. You can see we have reflectivity, which is rainfall on the left side, and we have the velocity on the right side. So this is the scan previous, and then you'll notice those colors not necessarily as bright and hugging each other as once before, but we're continuing to keep an eye on some other cells. I was keeping an eye on that as well. So we still do have some storms across portions of Northwest Arkansas as well. Not necessarily warned right now, but there are some stronger storms entering into portions of southern Washington County. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on those as well, especially given the history, as some of those cells were the ones that were causing problems across portions of Sebastian County and Crawford County a little earlier this evening. But right now, our focus continues to remain the tornado warning that's over towards Franklin County. And you can see broad areas of rotation. They have tried to ramp up, but they have been struggling to really put down something. And we're thankful of that. But that does not mean that they can't do so. And it also does not mean that strong winds are not being observed. We have very strong winds over towards Lone Elm. And there you see the latest as we enter in the 10 o'clock hour, those tornado warnings were allowed to drop off. So we'll drop off of coverage, your live coverage, very quickly. But again, just as we've said so before, should anything change and we get a new warning, we'll continue to monitor that as we can get the latest. So we appreciate you watching us, I should say, and we'll be right back after this very quick break. Go through Mega Doppler.
Yeah, so right now this is camera 1 showing you Mega Doppler real quick. We are in a quick break right now. I don't know what the camera did at one given point. We are in a quick break right now, but Davion does have to go straight live on air to cover the forecast there. So
concerning, man. Okay.
So right now, a lot going on. Davion is going to be doing weather coverage here real quick on air. So I'll be here and giving a quick run through of that. So let's go ahead, tune in, and then I'll try to give you more information as possible. It'll be a little bit harder since they'll be live on air, but we'll try to give you the latest updates as soon as we can. So just give us a second, guys. What has been happening? A lot has been happening in so little time. We have seen about 2 quick spin ups, and that's our main concern with some of this rotation across the area.
Yeah, because they were the ones with like the dam and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're talking behind me as well when it comes to that. So just give me a quick second.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do it right
Let's
now.
No, I'm not acting scared. Right now, we're trying to keep people informed as much as possible.
You know where
We
those
have seen
photos were
2
from?
quick spin ups,
Those are
and
from
our one main concern is
Greenwood
our
and,
audience here. So
Sebastian
we are not
County.
acting scared in the slightest. There's a lot of information, but
That was the
we are
strongest
secure when it comes to this,
spin
and
up
we
of the
really
day.
care about our
That one
audience.
was,
Do you want to talk about it?
yeah, we'll talk about
Just one quick second, guys.
Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 10.
Well, thank you for keeping it here on KNWA tonight as we're tracking some severe weather. I'm Casey Smith, joined alongside meteorologist Davion Huggins. The weather, turning quite dangerous in just an instant and prompted multiple tornado warnings in the River Valley, Davion. And it feels like kind of that weather went from 0 to 100 just kind of in an instant, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of hard to get back into newscast mode after being on live TV a little earlier than what's expected. But you're exactly right, Casey. I mean, those storms were certainly prompting some tornado warnings. We actually had some damage. But real quickly, before we go to Mega Doppler, if we can pull up some of those images, if we have them, of the damage that we were talking about. We certainly have seen some damage. There you see a barn over, and this is all coming from Sebastian County, and as far as southern Sebastian County over towards the Greenwood area. This is right outside of the Fort Smith area, but you can see very quick spin ups were able to cause some damage to some structures as well. So a little bit of a concerning look. Now we can switch things over to Mega Doppler now because we still do have some of these dangerous storms ongoing right now across the viewing region. So this is the cell that we were talking about over towards White Rock, Lone Elm, just to the south of Piney. This is an area of rotation that was prompting tornado warnings. You can see it still does have some broad rotation to it just to the northwest of Mulberry. It crossed over US Highway 64. Now that continues to lift off to the north, and those storms have been moving very slow. At first, it was moving at about 25 miles per hour off to the north. Then it slowed down to about 15. So these storms have stayed in Franklin County. At least the most dangerous storms have right now, as we enter into the 10 o'clock hour, have stayed in Franklin County. But thankfully, we're starting to see those rotations weaken quite a bit compared to the area. We still do have storms that are elsewhere. You can see Crawford County still picking up on some rain. We also had a couple of water rescues that needed to happen, and some of those emergency management officials as well as law enforcement could not get to them because some of the roads were flooded. So that's certainly a concern. So we still do have this flood warning in place across portions of Crawford as well as Sebastian County with some of those stronger storms that move through. We also still have some light rain across portions of northwest Arkansas, but southern Washington about to get in on some stronger storms as well, and we'll continue to track the latest. But there's the wide look at Mega Doppler, mostly across northwest Arkansas. We're pretty quiet and calm, but we'll continue to track those storms as they live throughout the north throughout the rest of this evening. But for now, Casey, we're going to go ahead and send things over back to you.
Real quick though, Davion, I know the big question on everybody's mind right now, with kind of the uncertainty of those storms just popping up mid-afternoon, is that something we could see as those storms continue to track, or has kind of the rain-soaked atmosphere taken some of the severity out of those storms?
Yeah, it looks like as those storms continue to lift off to the north, they'll be on a weakening trend, and we're starting to see that now as we enter into the 10 o'clock hour. Again, still want to watch the radar very closely given the atmosphere of what happened down south in the River Valley earlier today. But again, the conditions down there were a little better than compared to out here, but we'll still continue to monitor that. And we'll also let you know tomorrow where we do have that elevated slightly risk of tornadoes, where we could talk about that a little more. So it looks like the storms did not want to wait until tomorrow. So we'll continue to monitor that and give you up the latest on what you can expect throughout the rest of your weekend as well as the week beyond.
All right. Thank you, Davion. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. Now, the Waltons and other Crystal Bridges officials earlier today, before all this weather rolled in, cutting the ribbon on a massive expansion more than 5 years in the making. A new 114,000 square foot expansion of art galleries and a large space creative learning gathering space that will feature educational spaces, community gathering areas, and various art studios. Today's ribbon cutting ceremony on the new expansion features the Marks Museum director, executive director of the expansion.
A lot going on right now, so I'm gonna try to keep my voice as low as possible because they're live on air. Hopefully you guys can still hear me well for the most part. You are right now, Davion is setting up his show, and we have been keeping an eye on rotation thus far across the area. So let's go ahead and give you a quick update. We know things have happened very quickly in a few short time span. So far, there are no ongoing tornado warnings, So let's go ahead. I'm gonna, well, are you gonna use Doppler or Mega Doppler? I'm gonna go ahead and hop on Mega Doppler real quick so you won't see my face, but you'll see me pretty much direct you guys through it. So first and foremost, right now, northwest Arkansas, we are seeing general rain showers and thunderstorms across the area. You are beginning to see some thunderstorm activity beginning to pick up in southern Washington County, especially. You're seeing that lightning there as well. So far, it looks like there has been a little bit of broad rotation in southern Washington County. So we'll continue to keep an eye if that does anything. But as of right now, it looks like nothing as of the current moment. And then if we go farther south, let's go ahead and kind of dissect a little bit about what's happened in Franklin County, because I know a lot of people have been tuning in from Franklin County. So far, we've been seeing on and off tornado warnings in both Franklin and Sebastian County, but here was the main area of concern. You can see it was very broad, but any of this could have tightened up and produced tornadoes there, especially. But you could see that continued going on, and then it looks like there was a quick little, probably silent contamination to say the least. Yeah. So right now, again, just seeing little possible areas for spin ups. It's been happening all within an instant today, so that's why we've been very concerned. And you can see rotation has been very broad, has tried to tighten up at times, but was just not able to gain that power and energy to be able to do so. If we go ahead and set that storm motion from the warning there. There you go. And mind you, on top of that, the storms have been very slow moving. We've been talking like anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour, but mostly 15. And so that's why we've mentioned Cecil so many times, because that rotation was just going towards it, and then it just kind of weakened, and then it passed over Interstate 40. But on top of these rotations going on, you had heavy rain happening all along the way. So it would have been very hard to spot this, especially from the north and maybe way down south, just because of how much rain there is. And on top of that, it is night after all, so people are not necessarily able to see outside. Right now, I cannot look at any comments, so I'll try to respond to some here in just a little bit. But yeah, that's it. Dropped out at 10 p.m. and you could see that rotation entirely just kind of weakened. But we still have another area of concern. It looks like south of Ozark. Let's see if that does anything. It looks like it's been very broad for the most part, but again, just keeping an eye on that area south of Ozark, and then another area just west of Winslow. This is going to be our next area of concern by the looks of it. And then let's also look down at Waldron. Thus far, there were no tornado warnings in Scott County since way earlier. And I think we're talking before 9 p.m. In fact, time has been moving very quickly since we've been live on air. But as far as we know, there has been damage confirmed around Greenwood by the looks like, and around Barling area, I assume as well. And on top of that, water rescues have been happening because of flash flooding on top of all this, and crews have been having a hard time getting to areas where they need to get to because some roads are entirely submerged in water. But yes, I'll continue to keep an eye on that rotation west of Winslow especially, and I'll keep an eye on NWS Slack as well to see if they say anything in that. But in the meantime, we're going to switch back to reflectivity. I'm going to go ahead and come on over and look at some of the comments. And I know a lot of people have been surprised about this, and I'm sure some people, obviously people are going to be upset because there was baseball going on. But honestly, when it comes to tornado warnings, it's wanting to keep people safe. And the fact that we also saw damage reports across the area, even if you're not seeing necessarily a tornado, we still had some very fast winds happening across the region that was quickly causing damage across the area. We've seen reports of power lines down, trees down. I know there were a couple thousand of people in Sebastian County earlier that lost power. Don't know if those people are still out of power. But yes, that's what we've been dealing with at the current moment. So I'm going to go back to webcam real quick. Once Davion goes back on air, I'll put him on air as well for you guys, so that you're able to see him live on air. And I know people have been asking for some updates for tomorrow, because there is that 2% tornado risk, and he'll give you all the latest on that information. We just have not had the time to go through that, so that's why we haven't been able to necessarily tell you what's the forecast for tomorrow. And I know that can be frustrating, because we saw today quite a little bit of surprise, so people want to be prepared for tomorrow as well. And rest assured, we are going to make sure you are prepared as possible. But in the meantime, I'm keeping an eye on the Mega Doppler, but as always, Davion is also keeping a look at that. So let me go ahead and switch on over to Mega Doppler real quick and show you guys exactly what's out there. I am not able to change anything on Mega Doppler right now, but just letting you know what's happening.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a surprise for the day, but wanted to make sure you guys were up to date and safe with all those warnings issued.
Yes, so right now, I don't know if you guys are able to hear me clearly, because someone's saying they don't understand what I'm saying, but I hope you guys can hear me. Right now I'm being quiet just because there is an active newscast right now, so that's why you're probably not able to hear me at the current moment. But as I mentioned, we're keeping an eye on that area west of Winslow as well, to see if any rotation occurs with that area. I have yet to check National Weather Service Slack, but I'll definitely keep this up right now so that I can also look at it from the streaming computer while I keep you guys updated. Right now, I'm going to try to check through your comments right now. Fayetteville, we'll definitely keep an eye on just because if there's that possibility of rotation ramping up here, especially you can see it's kind of moving northward actually, so it could be moving west of Fayetteville, but then again you're moving into especially the heavier populated areas such as near Prairie Grove, for example. Unfortunately, our linking camera has been down, so we will not be able to see anything from there, but yes, we're keeping an eye on that circulation there west of Fayetteville. So northwest Arkansas, stay wary. Of course, we'll keep you guys updated if anything new arises. River Valley, you guys have been seeing flash flood concerns for the most part. Thank you, Heather, for letting me know right now. And yes, I'm keeping an eye on that rotation near Winslow as well, just to see if anything arises. Yeah, let me go ahead and see if National Weather Service Tulsa has said anything. Again, these circulations have been the cusp of wanting to produce something, and sometimes it has, but of course other times it hasn't, and that's sort of been the situation for today. So let me see if National Weather Service Tulsa has said anything, and it looks like they haven't. Hold on. So I asked them for their thoughts on circulation west of Winslow to see what they say. And yes, there is a risk for tornadoes tomorrow, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that.
Probably just gonna bogey here and drop a shot, but no, you go ahead and sink it and you stay far.
Because weather can come with surprises. Not even the National Weather Service or Storm Prediction Center expected any of this could happen. So things could happen in the blip of a moment. So I know, even for us, it's a surprise that there was no tornado watch. I was literally at home watching TV, and Davion said that circulation was beginning to ramp up. So I quickly got ready and got over here as soon as I can, just to make sure that you guys are prepared and covered and rest assured, of course.
I'll show that mega Doppler tour again.
And then it looks like someone said earlier, Ozark is getting hammered with hard rain. Would not be surprised if we see any more flash flooding concerns across the area, especially with how slow moving these storms are. We're talking anywhere from like 15 to 25 miles per hour.
Thank you so much.
No, of course.
No way we're 90 seconds out already.
Hmm?
I said there's no way we're 90 seconds out already.
Already? Okay.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, we're in a break right now. I didn't even realize we're in a break.
Okay.
I'll do a track after Davion is done with doing his weather, because he's about to go on in like 60 seconds. So I'm going to put him up so that you guys are able to watch exactly what he has to say, honestly, all the way up until tomorrow as well, because we know people are concerned about the tornado risk that is in place for tomorrow. Also wanting to let everyone know that Dan right now is on vacation, so he was not able to come in right now, and he's off, but rest assured, he was also very active. I know Josh Rugger has also been in here providing updates whenever he could. So literally, weather team, even if they're not in the station, they have all been active behind the scenes. But right now, it's just me and Davion in the studio. For those who were wondering, so this is pretty much our first time taking over severe weather coverage without Dan. But I think
first tornado warning live.
We handled it the best we could. Honestly, it's different when you have 3 people versus 2 people, and it changes everything around. But we're going to go ahead and put on Davion real quick. So give us a quick second.
Your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Davion Huggins, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Well, it's certainly been quite the stormy evening, and some of those storms definitely by surprise as they upticked in their strength and even prompting several tornado warnings. No tornado warnings across the region now. Those have all since expired right along as we started our 10 o'clock newscast. But we'll continue to show you this, how heating and cooling mega Doppler right now. We still have some of those stronger bands of rain and thunderstorm activity entering into portions of Washington County. You can see just south of Fayetteville, we're watching for those storms. Not much in terms of rotation. There has been very broad areas that we were slowly keeping an eye on, but you notice some of that is what we call side lobe contamination, as you see it's very bright and then it's all away. And then shifting off as we go zoom out a little bit. Again, a very big story of tonight outside of the tornado warnings have been the repeat rounds of heavy rain. We knew that was expected, and that's why you're seeing that flood warning across portions in the Fort Smith region over towards Crawford and Sebastian County, where we've had a lot of rainfall. And then as we go off to the east, we're continuing to show that rotation right now. Not seeing much, as we did have some rotation that was prompting a tornado warning across mainly Franklin County a little earlier today. Of course, we had a very quick spin up tornado likely on the ground over towards the Greenwood community. And then as we zoom in a little closer on some of those storms, you can see that it was certainly a stormy evening as we continue to track all those storms as they lift off to the east and northeast of our coverage area. Quite the stormy afternoon. We had a very good look at that on Mount Magazine. Of course, the lightning is done across portions of Mount Magazine, and that's why you're not seeing much in terms of what the camera looks like. But we certainly had a very disturbing looking lowering on Mount Magazine a little earlier this evening. And the National Weather Service, when we get those damage reports, they'll certainly send out their team of surveys and let us know exactly what they find and if it coincides with tornado damage. But certainly on radar, it's absolutely no question over in the Greenwood community over towards Sebastian County that we had one of those storms. There you see the lightning strike off in the distance right now. Temperatures outside much cooler than compared to what they were a little earlier today. But again, not really budging. We're kind of even Steven all day in the low to mid 70s with all of that cloud cover and rainfall. And speaking of rain, you can see that the models are doing the best job they can in terms of radar right now, and they actually have a pretty good handle on it. I think these storms should be a little bit further off to the east of what they're showing right now as we enter into about 1-2 o'clock. But notice we still do have those lingering storm chances throughout the overnight period before we get another lull in activity. Now, the big story for tomorrow is that the environment actually will be supportive of a couple of quick spin-up tornadoes. Now, that was what we expected tomorrow, but it came to fruition tonight. That does not mean we drop our guard for tomorrow. So we'll continue to monitor the radar as we have some of those storms move throughout the region as that low-pressure system tracks right through the region. And then by the time we get to tomorrow night and even into your Monday morning commute, I do think there could be a band of heavier precipitation as that lingers across portions of northwest Arkansas. So those rain chances, will be doing an up and down dance, going with about 100% chance of rain, and they slowly drop off throughout your Sunday afternoon. And then they continue to drop off heading throughout your Monday across northwest Arkansas. Again, temperatures slightly warmer than you'll notice by Monday afternoon and evening, back into the upper 80s and near 90. River Valley forecast, rain chances a little higher, and then they drop off a little quicker, with those temperatures certainly warming back up throughout the mid portions of the coming week. And that's going to be the story over the next several days. We have heat risks that will likely be upgraded to heat advisories heading into the mid portions of the week with temperatures back into the mid 90s. So for your Northwest Arkansas 7-day forecast, we get a little bit of a break from the storms, Casey. We have strong storm potential tomorrow. We're underneath that level 1 marginal risk, and that is because we do have a slightly elevated tornado threat again tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then as we go throughout your Monday, you can see that we start to have a little bit of a break in the rain. I think Monday afternoon will be mostly dry, and we start to warm things up. But Monday evening, another round of rain looking likely, and then heading into the rest of the week, temperatures really crank up, but so do the thunderstorm chances. After about one day of a break, Wednesday, perfect, warm and sunny. Tuesday afternoon looking nice. And then Thursday, especially Thursday evening and beyond, it looks like those shower and storm chances that are daily return across our region.
It's pretty rare you see 100% for a chance of rain on the 7-day.
Oh, yeah. And we went for that 2 days out. It looked like yesterday, Sunday would be the wettest of today. I'm curious to see how the models do tomorrow, because I think today we certainly got a lot of rainfall in the River Valley.
Right.
I mean, water rescues are just not something you hear about every day. Certainly a pretty concerning afternoon and evening for some.
Right. And the Fort Smith police also sending out all the floodplain kind of information and places to avoid and things of that sort. So we're getting rain, and we're getting more rain on top of that. Wednesday, we're really going to need to kind of dry us out.
Yeah. And remember, we were talking about how we need all the rain because the drought monitor, we're still in droughts. Well, when you have all of that rain happen too fast, that's when you start to get problems. And that was certainly what we saw today, alongside of several tornado warnings throughout the River Valley.
All right. Good info there from meteorologist Davion Huggins. Obviously, we're going to be tracking these storms all night long. So head on over to social media or 479 First to tap into that live stream. and we'll keep you safe tonight. Keep it here on KNWA News. We're back after this quick break.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Ozark Mountain Roofing. Integrity first, protecting what matters most.
Too, because it's been humid.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of me getting ready, I had like my flat iron on, and then I quickly passed over, and then I just zoomed over here.
Let's see. So we're in a newscast break now. I apologize if we were talking quiet a little. Why is it doing that? Whatever.
It's focused on me, so
A little earlier. It's been an evening.
there we go. It stopped.
Yeah, we're continuing to track these storms, but right now we're not concerned about spin ups as of right now. We were showing Mega Doppler. In fact, I can show you that really quickly.
Yes, so he's going to pull that up, and I have it here right now.
So yeah, so here's highly including Mega Doppler. Notice that all of the areas of rotation that we were concerned about have since started to die off, especially Franklin County. That has turned into a rainfall event, really losing that daytime heating. We still do have that flooded warning that's over portions of, I should say, Sebastian County right now. And we actually had water rescues that were being reported needed to be done. There's also another flood warning down in Scott County, who's continuing to see rainfall on the far eastern side of the county. Still a couple of areas of broad rotation, but they're very weak and not prompting warnings. And I don't think we'll see much throughout the rest of this evening. But tomorrow, certainly going to be another afternoon and evening to watch.
Yes.
We saw that Storm Prediction Center upgrade our risk from nothing to something. Honestly, could have been done today, given what happened, but
Yes.
that's weather for you.
Okay, so they're about to
So we're
go
back- yeah,
live
so
on
we're
air
back
right
from-
now, so we're quiet. But
Cinderella slipper not fitting anymore for the Little Rock Trojans. We fell on game 2 of their Sister Regional matchup.
they're done. Also, your brother came in.
So earlier in the tournament, winning the Hattiesburg Regional, upsetting national number 9 seed Southern
Good
Miss,
job,
Thank you,
Davey.
brother.
Jacksonville State twice.
Oh my
Being
goodness.
eliminated from College World Series
Oh,
contention
damn,
today, though.
I'm curious to see. Hold on.
Yeah. We'll give everyone exactly a good rundown and update from what has happened all the way up until what you should expect for tomorrow after the show is over. I know there are no tornado warnings right now, but we will give you a good debrief of beginning all the way up until end, because I know there's been a lot of information out there, guys. Yeah, so what are you seeing right now? So right now it looks like there are 1,143 customers out of power in Scott County, but
Most likely
down from
yeah.
3,000 earlier.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm questioning how accurate this is. Obviously, the viewers, you guys can help. If there's
Yes.
anyone in Sebastian as well as Crawford County, let us know if you know anyone that's without power. Because right now, Power Outage USA, which is what we use to show that, it's only showing Scott County, but with those storms, I wouldn't be surprised if we do have.
Yeah.
Said no final. No final.
No
Okay.
final. Okay, so
No, you're good. Thank you, guys.
the news is done. The news is done, guys. So we'll be able to finally talk back at
No,
full
we're good,
volume.
we're good.
Yeah, I know a lot
Go
of
home.
people, there are probably a lot of mixed emotions out there, to say the least, Davion, with what has happened, but he'll come in here in just
think-
a little
I think
bit.
you
But
guys should
first
be
and
good.
foremost, while Davion is out there right now, I want to go ahead, show you
Thank you
Mega
for reminding
Doppler
me.
one more time
No,
before
you're
we
good.
do that good debrief from beginning to end what has happened, because I'm sure a lot of people, their emotions are still high. So far, it looks like rotation has been brought across the area, but as of right now, there's no main concerns as far as we can see. It looks like that rotation has definitely weakened just west of Winslow. It was trying to get a little tighter, and it just absolutely didn't. And I'll have to check National Weather Service Tulsa as to what has happened as well there. But yes, so So much has happened, like we've mentioned. But honestly, Davion, when you can, you still have the final or no?
No, yeah, no final block. So
All right,
newscast
so
done. Yeah, we're
Davion
good.
is
I
done
have to do
here.
my weather cut-ins.
Oh, so Davion has to do his cut-ins as well. So we'll also give you a sneak peek on that. But right now, for everyone who is concerned, both for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley have not been seeing any
I'm gonna make this
rotation or
7-day
areas
graphic
of
real quick.
concern as of
Sponsor.
right
So I'm
now.
gonna make the sponsored 7-day graphic, and then I should.
And then so far, it looks like
Yeah.
heavy rain will be moving
yeah, you guys
into or has been moving into Washington County. So expect visibility, especially to be poor from Mountainburg all the way up into Brentwood along Interstate 49. We know that there has been a few drivers out there across the area, and I could show you real quick the iDrive network camera. Here is the iDrive network camera thus far, and it looks like it's still some rain across those areas. However, it's slowly been letting up for the most part. It was very poor earlier. People have their emergency lights on, which we know is illegal, but when it comes to dire situations, and it looks like there's still a few people with their emergency lights on, then people will turn it on, of course. But yes, you have Davion that's working on your cut-ins right there. But yes, back to Mega Doppler. So let's go ahead, give you a quick run through from north all the way down to south, and then we'll do that debrief once Davion is done with his cut-in. So up north, Missouri, you guys are just getting showers for the most part. Berry and McDonald County viewers, definitely keeping an eye on that. But for the most part, just some showers you could pretty much go to bed to, because it looks like a lot of this rotation has been dying out, which is great. Out towards the east, Boone, Newton County, you guys are great. Carroll and Madison right now, great for the most part, and Benton as well. Going to be seeing some heavier rain rolling through the region here. So if you hear rumble or two, don't be surprised about it. It looks like there were some positive CGs down south, especially west of Mount Magazine, because we had Mount Magazine on that cell earlier, and my goodness, it was just lighting up that cell. We had a crazy lowering, which we'll definitely have to go back with time and look at as well. But heavy rain across that area as of right now. We move farther south. We do see there is that flash flood warning for Sebastian County. Right now, no tornado warnings, like I mentioned, but there is this flash flood warning. And they mentioned here at 8:56 p.m., Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the Warren area. Between 1 and 3 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are possible, but it looks like the rain has moved out of the area in the meantime. So it looks like they're not seeing any ongoing rain except whatever's left just south of Rudy. We've had reports of water rescue crews that a water rescue actually had to be done along Rogers Avenue just because of flooded roadways, and then Greenwood and elsewhere was also entirely submerged in water, which I'm sure was a major concern for a lot of people out on the roads, especially with low visibility. And then on top of that, there were also some rescue crews that tried to get somewhere, but they couldn't because the roads were flooded. Now, when it comes to damage reports from what we've seen around Greenwood earlier, it looks like a trailer that was probably flipped, or it looks like it was flipped over, actually, a couple of down trees and down power lines. Would not be surprised if, well, hopefully National Weather Service can do so as soon as Monday to go out and survey, because tomorrow will be a complete washout. So with rain, I'm sure it'll be harder for them to try to get that survey done as well. Now, I know a lot of people have been asking about a little more in depth in terms of the forecast for tomorrow, and we'll give you that. But Davion has been working on doing his cut, and so once he's done with that, we can give you guys that debrief, of course.
Yeah, guys, what a day.
Definitely a day. No tornadoes, guys. No tornadoes right now. However, it looks like there could have been a possible tornado near Greenwood.
Yeah, Greenwood.
And then around Barling as well. So we'll definitely have to look back on that and see what has happened there. I know it's hard to look back on that information when you're in the process of taking care of the current tornado warnings and what's happening now, because when we're in that situation, we have to let you know what's happening now in the moment, just to make sure people are in their safe places, of course. But yes, caught me by surprise, of course, caught Davion by surprise, caught everyone by surprise. Let's be for real. Weather can happen all in an instant. Not even the Storm Prediction Center did not have a tornado risk over us at all today. So with that being said, like I mentioned, a surprise to say the least. But we tried to get on air as soon as possible. Davion, good job putting up the live stream as soon as he can, because mind you, as soon as that tornado warning was sent out, I was still driving on the way to the station. So Davion had to put up the live stream by himself. He had to tell the crew, "Hey, get ready. There is a tornado warning." Which, did you tell them prior that there might be a tornado warning coming?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had to
which
run
I
in there.
bet.
So when I saw the circulation, by this point it was already like you knew as a meteorologist, yeah, it wouldn't take actually, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take a meteorologist for all of our viewers. They would have been to look at radar and be like, oh yeah, that's going. So I ran because I was doing my show. I was making the
Yes.
forecast sheet, and I just glanced at Mega Doppler because I knew it was raining. I mean, keeping an eye on that, we always do. And I glanced and saw that, and I was like, boom, took off, mic'd up. I was like, they're going to issue a tornado warning. By the time I ran from here to production to
Fix
the
that.
studio, and then it's probably because I'm talking with my hands, but by the
I
time I
am
ran
too.
from the production to the studio and then back here,
Mhm.
it was tornado warned. And that's when uh, Dan was like, yeah, you got to get on there. And I was like, yep,
Yep.
got to do it. So we were on the phone, and then we hung up, and he was like, yep, do your thing. And man, I'm so thankful for our weather team. I know Rugger was in chat, like you said. I'm
Yes.
thankful that you were able to come in and help because high stress situation under, I mean, just be honest, there was no tornado risk outlined for our area. And of course, we know weather provides surprises. So I'll be interested to go back and really study why
Yeah,
versus,
we can
yeah,
do that for the people that are probably wondering, because my boyfriend said apparently a couple of people went onto X and they were also pretty upset that
yeah,
tornado warning went late. And we'll be transparent about that, of
yeah,
course. Our job as meteorologists is to not only inform you guys, but also be as transparent as possible. We're not going to beat around the bush when it comes to this kind of thing. I know I'm certainly not, because you guys deserve the honesty that you deserve. So far, it looks like Rogers is in the clear. Northwest Arkansas, as far as we know, they appear to be in the clear. Rotation has not been a concern as of right now. So, of course, let me go ahead, because people will ask for the regions, and I completely understand that too. So, right now, yeah, so far there's no rotation of concern. It has been brought from time to time, but so far they get cut off and die out really quickly. So there could be some broad areas in some regions, but yes, for Northwest Arkansas, circulation is not a concern at any point. So Fayetteville, Springdale, Lowell, Rogers, Bentonville, you name it, anywhere from Bend into Washington County, you guys should be in the clear as far as we know. But of course, that could change. That could change, but hopefully it's not. And it looks like it's beginning to weaken a little bit more as soon as it heads into Northwest Arkansas. Could see some lightning and hear some thunder from time to time. Heavy rain happening across the pretty much the intersection between Madison and Washington, as well as Crawford and Franklin County. And these storms have been very slow moving. We've been talking anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour at times, and sometimes even at 10 miles per hour. And I could go ahead and loop this for you, but yeah, you can see this has been just a lot going on, for us to say the least. And there were a decent amount of tornado warnings that went out across the region as well, no doubt about that. But yes, so that's the main story for right now. Davion is still getting his cut in together, but
man.
until he does that cut in, we're pretty much just going to be waiting for him, because I do think, you guys, we just need to have that discussion and to let you know what is in place for tomorrow, because that's our next concern tomorrow. And don't mind if my hair is kind of puffy right now. I had to take care of it as last minute as I can, because I'm sure many of you have been outside today. It has been muggy across the region. I went up to the Crystal Bridges expansion today, very busy. So if any of you were there, hello. But yes, it's been rainy across the day, and I'm sure a lot of us expected it to just be rain, even us meteorologists. But also props to Davion, because you were here at 7 in the morning putting out an update. Davion was here at 7 in the morning putting out an update for you guys. There was no show at 5 o'clock for KNWA, or 6 o'clock, I should say. So he put out another update at 5 o'clock that was a little bit more extended. So he's been here on top of it for the majority of the day. And props to him as pretty much the only meteorologist and up until when I came in around the time
My bad, y'all.
of the tornado warning.
All right, we're about to do this cut in really
He's gonna
quickly.
do that cut in.
That's what that was. That was the 7 a.m. cut in from the night before. But I was up when it went live, and I looked at radar to check and see
Yeah.
if it was live, and the radar was already lit up. LaFleur County, I mean, I was surprised that LaFleur County wasn't one of the flood warnings because,
They've been seeing rain.
all right, we're live.
Okay.
Well, yet again, we expect another day of shower and thunderstorm potential. And much like last night, we saw those storms pulse up to severe limits with some tornado warnings. That is certainly on the table yet again today as we have those temperatures climbing to the upper 70s to low to mid 80s. But you can see shower and thunderstorm chances looking very likely as that low pressure system continues to track throughout our area. And because we've seen so much rain, the ground is saturated, so heavy rain and flooding will be possible, especially along those low-lying areas that we continue to look at. So Future Track showing you that we could have some scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the late morning into the early afternoon. Those will grow more widespread, and the latest models are starting to show most of the rainfall off to the east. Not necessarily sure if we buy that just yet, but we do know there won't be rain at exactly every single hour across the entire viewing area. But just don't be surprised if you're seeing some of those rain showers ramp up. And then here's the interesting thing. Heading into Sunday night and early Monday morning, a heavy band of rain looks likely as it parks itself right over Northwest Arkansas and likely alongside Highway I-40. So that's certainly going to be a little concerning as we continue to see heavy rainfall potential. And where does all the rain go? Well, it's going to be going and sticking around as we head throughout the early portions of the week. You can see another round of rain, like we mentioned, Monday night into Tuesday potentially. And then we crank up the heat. High temperatures back into the low to mid 90s with those shower and thunderstorm chances continuing throughout the rest of the coming week. In 3, 2. Shower and thunderstorm chances looking likely, especially on this Sunday afternoon. A couple of those could be strong to severe at times. And then we'll start to gradually taper off those storm chances as temperatures rise in the upper 80s and lower 90s. And that certainly starts a warming trend. Temperatures on our Wednesday in the mid 90s before we crank up the heat. But after Wednesday, those daily shower and thunderstorm chances will return across the region. And check this out. River Valley forecast mid to upper 90s, possibly with heat index values eclipsing triple digits. So make sure you're staying hydrated and keep the umbrella handy.
Okay.
All right. Now we can do the deep dive. I feel like everything I wanted to get done just
Was not able to.
Not able to. It's
Not
just
able to.
one of those days. So real quick before we break down what happened and be as transparent as possible, I'll let production know that we're done. We don't even need the producer thing anymore. My bad. Yeah, we don't need it.
We don't need them.
Yeah, still live.
We're on the live stream. Yes.
Just Facebook.
Ellie and
Live.
I will be on MLK,
Okay.
nearby, just to, because we want to go eat.
Okay, yeah,
just
go
in
eat.
case something pops up, we'll be 5 minutes away.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys for
Thank
all
you.
your work,
Yeah,
honestly.
I think you'll be fine, but thank you.
Just in case. There
Yeah.
was one time Danson was home. As soon as I got home, he called. He goes,
Come back.
I've done the same thing
You're
to
used to
Christina,
it.
so I know.
"Yeah, it's okay. But we'll be 5 minutes away."
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So before we start, I guess I can take off producer. Thank you. Take off producer and just do mega Doppler. Well, now we can breathe. It feels like, huh? Okay, let's see really quickly. Next one. Why did it
Okay.
zoom in like that?
Checking NWS Slack, they were saying that rotation that we saw west of Winslow was decreasing.
Good. Okay, so taking you through Mega Doppler right now. The storms that were down south, they have lost their steam. So it is going to get a little noisy. We're already starting to see that, especially in southern Washington County, southeastern Washington County, and southwestern Madison County. going to get a little noisy. There are some lightning strikes and some heavier bands of rain moving through the region now. You can see how those are coming to fruition. Still have a little bit of a stronger cell across portions over towards the Ozark area in Franklin County, but again, that is the remnants of what we saw earlier. Not expecting any more severe pulses with this. Looks like most of the activity is done for. Still have those flood warnings across portions of Scott County, and you also still have those flood warnings across portions of Crawford County, as well as Sebastian, over towards the Fort Smith region, Greenwood. We heard areas of water rescues that were happening across portions of this area. So certainly just continue to keep that in mind because the ground is saturated. We had so much rain over the past several days, especially today. The water has nowhere to go. So that will continue to be the case heading into tomorrow with even more rain chances possible. So just keep that in mind. But for right now, a couple of showers and storms, especially in LaFleur County as well, southern LaFleur County. They certainly don't need any more rainfall, but still seeing that move through, and that will be more so happening tomorrow as well. So severe threats are done. I think you guys can rest a little bit, but I certainly understand the uneasiness given what just happened and transpired over the past couple of hours or so. Huge thanks to Leslie for you to come in. Dan for staying active, even as he heads to vacation, and Slack Rugger for staying active with chat and reassuring everybody and just helping to reiterate the information as fast as we can possibly get it. Man, I truly do love our weather team because I mean, again, we're meteorologists. No meteorologist is perfect.
Yes.
I mean, we saw that today. Not expecting severe weather, and then those storms pulse up to severe aspects just like that. So it's just certainly, one of those things. Yeah, huge thanks to him as well. Just certainly one of those things that transpired, and that's why we always, try to stay weather aware. I'm just thankful that all the equipment and everything was able to run smooth because high stress situation where I'm building a show, keeping an eye on the radar. That's why I came in a little early.
Yes.
And you just hate to see that, damage happens. Hopefully everyone was okay. I'm hoping that everyone was okay. I know we had those water rescues happen, but just what an evening. What an evening.
And it all happened so quickly too.
Yeah. So here's what I was going to show you guys.
Yes.
Now that we can
actually show you guys what happened.
Breathe a sigh of relief. So I'll just do velocity because it tells the better story. And I'll go last 3 hours now because I have no idea how long it's been.
I don't even know what time I came in. I just saw your message and I just zoomed on in real fast. All right.
So this all transpired across the Greenwood area at first. So this is the Fort Smith region and points south. You can already see this is 7:46, so I need to go back a little further. I'll go 4 hours because there was nothing in the hour of 6 o'clock. So around 7:20. There you go. So this is
look how quick
this is. So this and these are again some of the same areas we were calling out on the live after this initial one had moved through because they just kept handing off other storms. So 7:18, you get a brief, spike in wind intensity, and then 5 minutes later, I'm fully convinced this was a full-blown quick spin-up tornado on the ground, especially when you see damage coinciding with it, and then it only got tighter as a couplet. And I'm going to zoom in and really get some of these areas. West Clark, Chapel Road, Young Ridge Road, South Coker, White Rock Road, Palestine Road. I mean, this is just, that's tight areas of rotation, but look how fast it went from here a couple of minutes later and it spikes. I mean,
look at that. Also, keeping in mind, this is not moving in your typical southwest to northeast direction. This was actually going the opposite way. So when I first came in, I was confused. I was like, okay, typically towards the northeast, and
it was,
see the warning. It's like, no, it's towards the northwest. So I had to adjust
it was weird
very
because
quickly.
The warning box. I guess I can pull this up. The warning box got full. Okay.
Yeah, you can keep going.
Yeah. So the warning box or the warning polygon, it was narrower
the further out it went versus where the initial tornado was, which is usually the opposite of what you see. That's kind of hard, kind of explain shapes without showing a shape, but um,
When somebody called my phone at the audio desk
Yes.
and asked for somebody from the weather center, and they would like to talk to me.
Yeah.
It sounded like this one called it.
Okay, go ahead
Yeah.
and Davion, take it over. So yeah, like you mentioned, this
Here, I'll leave
ended
the-
off very, very quickly.
I'll leave the mic here.
Okay, yeah. Leave the mic to me. So Davion is going to be answering that call right now. And so yeah, the thing is, like, you can probably see right now, this is looks like tight circulation for the most part. And there was no tornado warning that was issued by that time. And I'm sure this was something that happened so quickly in the span of a few minutes that no one could have expected, considering there was no initial tornado threat. So we're definitely going to have to look back and do like a sort of a case study on today just to get an idea of what exactly happened, just because I mean I was not expecting this myself. And it's crazy because just yesterday I was like, I have a bad feeling about this weekend, more so for considering the fact that there's that tornado threat for Sunday, and it'll be my first time doing sort of the weekends with that sort of threat that's in place, or risk, I should say. But the fact that it happened today completely catches you off guard. So pretty much my gut was telling me there could be something this weekend, and lo and behold, that is right now. Okay.
Just go give him your phone number really quickly.
Okay.
So,
So there's my mic, guys.
All right.
okay, check, mic check. All right, we're good. Yeah. So, yeah, man, full transparency. Fully not expecting severe weather to happen like that for today, but you know, that's the nature of the business, and you just have to stay ready. So, pulling up the wrong thing here, excuse me. So, next one. So, back to what we were talking about. You can see that live radar. This is 740. I mean, there's strong velocity couplet. Vineyard Creek Road, Timber Ridge Road. I mean, this undoubtedly we got some damage that was over to the Excelsior area. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, by the way. But as quick as it was there, is as quick as it was gone, and that was the story of the evening with some of these quick spin-ups. And notice, as the spin-up weakens, then you get the warning, but we're not done, because then you get other quick spin-ups that happen a little further south in some of the same areas. And you get this big area south and east. So we're just giving you the play-by-play of what transpired as those storms continued to lift off to the north, very close to the radar. So it was also very hard to see as well. You get what's called the cone of silence, where any storm that's in this general vicinity is just not going to look the best on radar. So it's hard to read it, but certainly continue to issue those warnings. And then those are the latest warnings that we had across Franklin County, the slow moving circulation that happened. We also had tornado warnings in Scott County as well earlier today. Those are moving in from the south. There you see broad areas of rotation prompting warnings. Thankfully, those quickly weakened and continue to weaken. So still do have that new flood warning is in place though as well. Looks like they shifted that to the eastern portions of Scott County with the heaviest rainfall that's happening right now. So just an very active weekend. I know there's a ghost in here. I know, right? Telling us to leave. I'll pull up. Curious to see. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'll pull up some comments here to see where was the tornado. Just checking in. So we had tornadoes likely in the Greenwood area, which is an area that was hit earlier this year with some strong winds and power outages. I remember that specifically. Last time it seems like it's always Greenwood, because last time me and Dan were here, it was Greenwood. That was the area, that was the city.
Yeah.
Emergency management was like, yeah, we just lost power. And I was telling Dan, I was like, my radar is showing 70-mile-per-hour winds, and this storm is not severe warned at all or anything. I was like, this radar is showing 70-mile-per-hour winds, but I was like, could be overdone. Nope, wasn't overdone. So, man, yes, but the threat is over. Just very well. Keep your heads up. You earned a lot of respect today. I really do appreciate that because I mean, as a meteorologist, especially in this kind of circumstance, you kind of sometimes can like beat yourself up on the, just the lack of not being perfect. But I mean, it's you won't ever be perfect as a meteorologist in the business, and that's just something that you have to come to terms with. And I feel like we did a good job as best as we could, given the circumstances. I know the other stations were definitely on it as well. So um, props to them as well, because again, meteorologists
Yeah.
as a whole, I mean, we're in the same chats as our the other stations in our same market, and we're all knowing this was a nowcasting event because beforehand, waking up today, there was no severe weather threat or expectation whatsoever. Um, yeah, it's just one of those things. Starting to rumble in Huntsville, yeah, definitely getting some thunder, lightning, but storms are below severe limits now. Thankfully. Awesome, Judge Knight. Welcome to the Scoffing Vacations for Brother.
The farther he is, the higher it goes.
Yeah,
up.
that definitely seems to be the case.
Yeah.
There's been numerous times. I mean, he had to come in and help out on his son's birthday.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we were doing on his son's birthday, which was not long ago, several weeks ago. We were doing tornado coverage on a weekend.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because it's just like Mother Nature just didn't care. It's just, yeah, I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah, Dan, you're far away from the station. How about we bring you back in? That's
Yeah.
exactly what it feels like.
Dan needs to be able to teleport. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, I also
But, yeah.
mentioned the fact that tornado warning was issued a little bit later than
Yeah.
what people
And-
would assume,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And that's, I mean, the nature of quick spin ups. I mean, we've seen that happen before here specifically as well. So it's just,
Yeah.
just one of those things. And we're not like, by no means are we blaming NWS. I think this is one of those things that you go back and really study what happened, because I'm telling you, the storms were garden variety, heavy rain, of course, no doubt, not severe limits. And then for whatever reason, as they entered into the I guess just the southern area, I don't know if they had, I didn't anticipate them having much sunshine today because I was looking at radar for majority of the day and it was a boatload of rain, especially in LaFleur County.
Yeah.
So I was just like, but once those storms passed through LaFleur County and got slightly east, just south of Fort Smith, just go, spin up, spin
Yeah.
up, spin up. And I was like, even when we went live for the one quick spin up, and I was on the phone with Dan, we didn't anticipate it to last as long as it did. I feel like we were on air for quite a bit. And again, I do want to apologize to those. I mean, the ones who I'm apologizing to are probably not watching us because they probably don't want to see our faces any longer than what they have to. But I mean, I know there was sports going on our station channels, and we prioritize, especially tornado warnings. We try not to cut in with every single warning whatsoever. Even sometimes we get annoyed ourselves when we have to put the little banner on the top when they're like flood warnings. But you just have to if you don't do it and you see water rescues happen today, but if that banner wasn't up there, no warning happens, then you're really in trouble. So, I mean, I know there's frustration us cutting into live TV, especially when there's sports going on. We had a couple of comments and emails hit our inboxes last time.
I saw a couple of comments when I came in, and people were like, "Put baseball back on."
And I understand. I get it. I mean, I'm I'm a avid sports fan myself, cut into track and field, but I mean, life and protection of life and property, comes first. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes.
Yes.
But it is. I mean, especially when those storms having damage. Yeah, so it's just.
And even I know the anxious part too. I know a lot of people, they get so anxious, and I completely understand that. We're in Northwest Arkansas,
yeah, it's a way of life.
in our few months of being here, we realize this area is full of surprises, and it's something that we've learned to take seriously.
Yeah.
And today was just one of those cases.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, we've been live long enough. I mean, and for those of you who may be new to our stream, for instance, I'm meteorologist Davion Huggins.
And I'm meteorologist Leslie Castro.
But for those of you that notice, the ones who've been here, they can kind of see like we've been on enough lives to where they see the kind of not joking side of us, but kind of like when things finally subside and
Yes.
everyone is good and safe, we're a little bit more relaxed. But they've also seen where it's like we're serious and we're
Yeah.
throughout that entire newscast. I'm known for smiling. I don't think I smiled one time throughout that entire newscast, and it's just the nature of what happened
Mhm.
this evening.
Are you looking at anything?
Yeah, I was just looking at Mega Doppler. Just a real quick update. I mean, severe again, for those of you that are wondering, it is going to get a little loud. We're starting to see some heavier bands of rain work through southern Washington County and southern Madison County. And that's also entering into portions of Johnson County as well. That would be my alarm. Stop that. But yeah, it's the severe threat is over for tonight.
Yes.
That's all done for.
No tornadoes.
No tornadoes.
There are no tornado warnings. That's why we're not live on air, but we're continuing this live stream to pretty much close out the night for you guys so that you guys can go to sleep peacefully.
Yeah, go to sleep peacefully. And also just talk as to, I know there was, not expected to be severe weather whatsoever today. And it ended
And
up
let
being
you know
that.
our true thoughts too.
Yeah, true thoughts. It's just sometimes one of those like we said, weather can provide surprises, and that's why you always pretty much stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I thank God that I can type fast, because I was on the phone with Dan and Dan was like, "Look, you gotta go,
And it's hard because we have so much. As much as we try to compose ourselves on air, today I definitely felt the adrenaline just because I was home.
yeah,
And knowing that Dan was not here and you were by yourself, I was like,
Yeah.
I got ready. I hit the car. I said, David, I'm coming.
that's how I felt
And
too. I was just like,
on top of that, it was raining out there too, and I was
Yeah.
coming, so I had to be careful.
and this was our first tornado coverage live on air solo.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, it was like adrenaline, but like I can do this adrenaline. Like we can do this. We can do this. But just getting it started. Just go. And you really just gotta trust that you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. And we
Yes.
train for that. And that's huge props to our chief, of course, Dan,
Of course,
for
because
prepping us and getting
prepped
us ready and doing all that he does, because there's a lot that goes into everything behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know, and it's it definitely shows up in ways that you would least expect, I'll say.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was gonna say, you guys are great. Thank you guys for listening and
Honestly.
being attentive
And still
and
watching,
still
even with
watching,
no.
being kind, being honest as well. We
Yes.
appreciate that too. Now, real quick, now that we do have time, it was hard to give a forecast because there was so much going on now.
And I'm sure you have one
Yeah,
because
I was about to say I do.
I
have
came
a
into
forecast.
Nowcast with you.
Yeah.
You probably had something.
Yeah, I do want to let you guys know. I had the 7-day on the show. I know saw it briefly.
Yes. So Davion, he knows a lot more, and of course I'll be picking it up tomorrow since Davion, he'll be covering the mornings this upcoming week. So if you want to catch Davion on air, it's in the morning. So he's going to be there for your 5 o'clock, your 6, your 7. He's
Kinda
going to be
nervous.
covering your morning commute. It's fun.
nervous but excited.
It's fun. It's fun. Ashlyn and Jackie are great when they do come in for sure. And then I'll be covering tomorrow as well. But Josh Rugger and I'm sure you, but like get your rest at the same time.
Yeah, I know,
Josh,
right?
he'll be on standby if anything does arise for tomorrow. And then Josh Rugger will be covering your evening shows this upcoming week since Dan is on vacation. He deserves that vacation. When it comes to this severe weather, just does not give him a break. So he deserves that
he's
for
had
once.
numerous hours. We're starting to hear some heavy rain
over
here at the
us too.
station.
So it's going to get loud at times tonight, but severe weather threat is completely down. Maybe some lightning, and I put my hand up, so now the camera. Maybe some lightning. So of course you always want to take your extra caution when it comes to lightning. But Davion, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what people should expect for tomorrow. Because now that today is over, we shift over to then.
To tomorrow and shift to forecasting versus nowcasting.
Yes.
So I do want to reiterate, it was hard to build the graphic, I guess, limited time, but I want to show you guys this graphic really quickly. So you've seen this graphic before. We show this all the time. Not much in terms of forecasting. So for starters, I know
Yes.
we went with 100% chance of rain. That's because we think 100% chance of every portion of the viewing area will likely see at least one drop of rain.
Yes.
So here is the day one convective outlook. You guys have seen this map before. We show this a lot, even on air.
Mm-hmm.
And notice how this has actually shifted some compared to what it was earlier. It previously had portions of Northwest Arkansas in it. But again, some of the same areas that were happening today, or this is day one. I meant to show day two. I'm sorry. Can you tell it's been a long day? There we go.
There we go.
So this is tomorrow. I had to catch myself.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. This is tomorrow. So tomorrow you can see that today there was a general non-severe thunderstorms. We weren't at a level 1
Mhm.
until after the fact.
Yes.
And then, we see that come to fruition. So that's one of those days where, tornado warnings can happen at any given point, any given outlook. But tomorrow's outlook, we do have a level 1 marginal risk, and it is driven by a 2% risk of tornadoes. And you can see that even this has, let me show you day 2, clicking on the wrong buttons here. There we go. And it is driven by a 2% risk of tornadoes. And and I say that because you'll notice the hail threat, nada.
0.
Wind threat, nada.
0.
So this is driven by kind of like what we saw today. Quick spin up tornadoes will likely be possible tomorrow. And I wanted to touch on this. I mean, I can do it now. There was no time to do it in the forecast, but so much similar to this evening where things kind of took us by surprise. We don't want to drop our guard for tomorrow. We're not saying that tomorrow will pan out exactly like today did. We know no two storms are the same, but most of the viewing area does have a 2% risk of a quick spin up tornado throughout tomorrow. So definitely want to make sure you're weather aware of that. In terms of rainfall, I can go through the future track again.
Yes.
The graph, the HER actually updated and kind of coincided with the graph a little bit. I was looking at the graph a little more throughout the day. So I'll show you. So the graph, you can see the low pressure, the spin in the atmosphere just off to our northwest. So any southern section, which is our entire coverage area, any one of those storms could, jump up to severe limits, rotate. But notice how it tries to keep most of the rain off to the east. That may come to fruition, but I still think a lot of us will see some rain tomorrow. But the areas that don't, and if it's sunny outside or if you get any breaks in the clouds and you get more instability, certainly going to want to keep your guard up as well. But nonetheless, you can expect rainfall tomorrow at the very least. But I do want to touch on this because this is actually a little concerning, especially given the water rescues and flooding that we saw. So this has been showing up on the graph since yesterday morning.
Okay.
Me and Dan were seeing this, and actually Dan saw this before that because he had rain for Sunday night into Monday morning before I did, and now this has uptrended, and it just showed a heavy band just parking itself.
Interstate 40
Interstate,
or 40.
yeah, Interstate
all over
40
again.
all over again. So that's your Monday morning commute time frame. So I will be in studio throughout majority of this rainfall event, but anywhere where that heavy a band of rain sets up throughout Sunday night into Monday morning, undoubtedly will cause some problems in terms of flash flooding or even just general flooding, given that we already have saturated grounds, and that's why we're seeing flood warnings and watches go out today. So
Yes.
I know that was a mouthful and I haven't stopped talking, but man, just wanted to get that out there, what you can expect for tomorrow.
A day.
Yeah. And after that, it's going to get hot. Wednesday, definitely get outside. Tuesday afternoon, I think you get outside. Wednesday, get outside because there will be limited rain. But when I say get outside, make sure you hydrate and go to the pool or something.
Hydrate, sunscreen, big on sunscreen.
Sunscreen, find a body of water, do all of that. By Thursday, especially Thursday evening, I think we see the return of some storm chances. So Tuesday, Wednesday this week look like the peak days, especially Wednesday. I think Wednesday would be beautiful.
Okay.
But definitely make sure you stay in weather aware tomorrow. And then again, Monday morning, Monday evening, there could be a little bit of rainfall as well. But latest models have tried to trend that far north of us. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just a quick glimpse. We were showing you the future track really quickly. I'll just show you this really quickly. So Monday afternoon, most of the rain moves out, and then you'll notice another system that dives in. That was fast. Whoa. So there we go. Back up. Another system diving in early wee morning hours of Tuesday, but notice how it keeps most of it in southwestern Missouri. Earlier, this was this dived down a little further south, so we'll continue to monitor the trend. But right now, we kept those rain chances in there. But again, just something that we'll have to continue to watch. But
Yeah.
man, what an evening!
What
Nothing beautiful about
a day.
this is funny. Nothing beautiful about 96 degrees. Yeah, you
That
know
is-
what?
you
You're
know
actually
what?
right because it is
I
going to be
won't.
humid as well.
Yep.
I'll say the vibes that you get when you go to the pool are beautiful, but yeah, 96 degrees is a little oppressive
It
for
is.
that's coming from someone who likes the warm weather. That's not warm. That's hot. That's scorching.
It is
so, yeah, maybe just make sure you're staying hydrated. But on a serious note,
Yeah.
strenuous outdoor activity, definitely keep that at a minimum. So
Based on this conversation, I can imagine it'd be good. I
Yeah.
just wanted to check in before.
Yes.
it should be-
You're
yeah, it
good
should
to
be
go.
Heavy
Yeah.
rainfall.
Say hello to the live stream, Casey.
Yeah.
What's
say
up,
hello to
live
the
stream? I walked in on the, hey, don't do any crazy hard work outdoor activities. It reminds me of when I was working at the local golf course one summer,
Uh-huh.
and it was like 95 out, and heat indices of like 105, and of course mowing greens,
Oh,
running
yeah.
fairways, everything.
That's not
I'm just
fun.
housing water and sweating it out.
Hey,
I was like fanning myself in my hat.
Yeah.
that's how mid this week will feel. Those heat index values. Honestly, as early as Monday for the River Valley, they were showing heat index values over 100, and by Wednesday over 105. So
Weren't
we'll
we like 72, right?
yeah, and that's the problem. Heading throughout the mid portion of the week, we'll be like 70, closer to 80 overnight. So there won't be much recovery.
Notice how that 90-degree weather with the 100-degree heat indices are going to be coming when Davion's doing the morning. So you guys can go ahead and blame Davion for that. He's prepping up the 90-degree weather for you guys as we speak.
But yeah, no severe weather tonight. Should be good, but some rainfall lingering throughout the evening. Definitely.
Yes, and of course, like we mentioned, if you want to show Mega Doppler, we're going to show Mega Doppler one more time, give you a quick run through of what's for tomorrow, and we're going to close out the live stream.
Yeah. So here's a live look at Mega Doppler right now. Again, still have some heavier bands of shower and thunderstorm activity across Madison and Washington County, as well as far extreme northern Franklin County and northwestern Johnson County. That's the heaviest of the rainfall right now in terms of northwest Arkansas. Again, severe limits or severe weather is done for. You guys should be able to see these are just garden variety thunderstorms, nothing you haven't lived through. Down south, working our way further south in the River Valley, some scattered showers across the rest of Johnson County and Logan County. And again, still some heavier rainfall that's moving out of southern Scott County. This will continue to push off to the northeast. So some of this could enter into Logan County, but again, severe limits will likely continue to be low and non-existent. However, heavy rain and flash flooding will continue to be an issue. So if you have anyone that has to be on the roads in the wee morning hours or the overnight hours, just make sure they're aware of certain low-lying areas and those poorly drained streets that could be flooded over, especially with it being dark out. Some of that could be hard to see at times.
Yes.
So just make sure you're keeping an eye on that, especially for any loved ones, like I said, who have to be on the roads maybe late tonight into the early morning hours. We just got a new flash flood warning.
New
as we're
flash flood,
speaking.
actually.
Uh,
Pull that up.
mm,
Just click on it. Yeah. There we go.
Yep. So that is
That is
Washington County,
West
yeah.
Fork and
Yeah.
Winslow.
Washington County.
So
So this is-
Washington County,
Yep. So pretty perfect, just as we spoke on that. Yeah.
2:15 a.m. Would not be surprised if we see more flash flood warnings across the region. So as always, guys, make sure to stay aware. I know a lot of us are going to be home for the most part, but stay out of those roads that have water in them and you can't see how deep it is, because roads do give way under sometimes as well. And on top of that, it is very dark out there. So a lot of these flash flood warnings will expire by the time you wake up for the most part. But when it comes to the tornado threat that we had earlier, it is done. Things have tried and it's just not trying at all. So of course, just honestly rest easy, guys. We'll rest easy as well. Of course.
And stay weather aware.
Stay weather aware.
Especially after today, surprises can happen, and we'll try to limit that surprise element going forward as best as possible. But again, it's just something that can happen given the where we're at. It's and the time of year. It's meteorological summer, but it is still springtime.
It
and
is.
We know spring is still tornado season, so just keep those guards up and just remember your rules. Like that one, turn around, don't drown. That's a big one. Duck. So yeah, I think severe weather threat is done. We won't keep you guys too much longer. Let you guys log off and get to sleep. We'll try to do the same and get ready for potentially doing it all over again tomorrow.
Of course, and I'll be providing you guys all the updates for tomorrow and taking over tomorrow as well. So as always, make sure to follow our Facebooks as well. I know we follow Dan, but a lot of times we post the updates on our own pages as well. So meteorologist Davion Huggins, meteorologist Leslie Castro, you have us right here, guys. And actually, I'll go ahead and type those in. Definitely our Facebooks, we're active on that when it comes to posting those updates, of course, because we want to make sure that you guys are aware with all that as much as possible. So there's meteorologist Davion Huggins, and then you got mine as well, because I know my name can be confusing for a couple of people because it's not your usual spelling. A lot of people see Ashley. It's not Ashley. It's not Ashley, but there you guys go. And
follow those pages. Stay weather aware, stay up to date. Of course, meteorologist Leslie Castro, she has your forecast for tomorrow. Of course, we'll all be on standby, making sure things are good. I got you guys for the morning commute. First time in the morning.
First time.
The first time is going around a lot this weekend, I guess.
Yes, and one final question: when does the risk begin tomorrow? So technically, the risks run from 7 a.m. Sunday to 7 a.m. Monday. But a lot of it is from the late morning to early afternoon and into the evening. It's really just a matter of where these storms begin to pop up. That we'll continue to keep an eye on, of course.
And today, I mean, the models didn't show much instability. Tomorrow it'll be slightly elevated in terms of instability. So tomorrow could have potentially a higher ceiling than today, but you never know given the atmosphere of what we just saw. So again, just make sure you're staying weather aware for tomorrow.
Of course, yes. But we're gonna drop off, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of
your evening, your weekend,
your night. Sleep well, and we will see you here. Hopefully not the same time tomorrow, but if need be, I will be right here, and probably Josh Rugger too. Get your sleep. You have your morning. But bye everyone, and we will see you around.
Have a good night. Thanks for watching.